Okay, I think we are live. Let's see. All right, it looks like we are live here. I'm gonna send it in the general. Okay.
Have you hit the live on YouTube
Yes.
itself?
Yes.
Okay, it's still saying waiting on my end.
Let me see. Just make sure. Yep. All right, guys. We got 4 people in the... All right, so we're just gonna make sure that we tweet everything out, get everything in, but hopefully we have everything set up correctly. Oh, hello, Zippo. YouTube. All right. Sorry, just gotta work on a couple more things. So, so how are you guys doing today, first of all?
Ooh, hot. It's hot over here in the UK. And surprisingly, actually, I'm not doing too bad because I got my back up yesterday. And everyone was like, oh, you're going to feel really tired, take the next day easy. I've been normal.
Is this your first dose or your second dose?
This is my first dose.
Oh, that's why.
I mean, like most people I've spoken to, it's the first dose that's the bad one, and then the second dose is fine.
Yeah, I hear reports on both sides of it. So I feel like it just depends.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his first dose was, he said he didn't feel anything and he almost died for the second. So, I mean, you know, look forward to that.
Yeah, everything I've heard is the second one is the one that at least makes your arm hurt more. That's what I've heard.
I mean,
Yeah,
my arm does hurt. I'll give it that. But I was at the gym and doing groceries and all sorts like I'd usually do on a Saturday. And not bedridden like I know some people will when they got it.
Yeah, I got my first dose and it was pretty okay.
Yeah, I got the Johnson & Johnson. The next day I was tired with a sore arm, but it wasn't too bad.
I heard
Maybe
that
that's
Johnson
it.
Johnson
Maybe you
wasn't
guys
so
have
bad.
different. Yeah, maybe it's because you guys have different ones. We don't have Johnson & Johnson over here. So, Pfizer
Yeah,
was
that's
the
not
one I got.
accessible here either. What'd you get?
Pfizer?
Oh, that's what I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't remember what the other one is that we get, but I know it's not Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, that's a one and done, right?
Yeah, Johnson & Johnson's one and done. That's what I got. There's
that's
also
sweet.
Moderna. Yeah.
Is
Moderna
it
the other one.
Inject you with 2 Johnsons, that's why.
Exactly.
Hence
You
the
get double
name.
Johnson. Mhm.
Get double the Johnson. You don't need. Or we pace out our Johnsons.
All right, we got Jacob
You
Tucker.
have room for any more Johnsons. Ooh, I'm getting political.
Keep your politics out of my Smash chat, damn it.
Smash isn't about politics unless it's arguing over which character is going to get in.
Yeah, then it's Crash Bandicoot.
And Crash is a confirmed communist, right? Like, that's pretty political.
Yeah, yeah.
Is he a communist or an anarchist? I'd have felt.
I believe
Oh,
actually. I believe Crash would probably be an anarchist.
My guess is he's actually Bandicoot.
Whoa, that's like all claim.
I thought he was part of the Whig party. I thought he was a Whig.
Pretty clearly, Spyro supports the crown, though. So, I don't know about them.
This is true.
I like Spyro more than Crash. There, I said it. I think deep down, most of us feel that way. We just are like, well, I mean, it's Crash. He's bigger or whatever.
I mean, I do prefer the Spyro games to the Crash games, so I will admit that.
Yeah, same here. I like
I'm
Spyro
such a Crash
gameplay for whatever reason.
Yeah, I'm such a Crash guy. I just love Crash Bandicoot.
I like both. I like Crash 4, but I don't know, when I played the Spyro remasters and the Crash remasters like back to back, I much preferred the Spyro
I'll say
ones.
this: it would be super cool if Smash Brothers could get an iconic third-party platforming character from a system that used to be considered a rival to Mario, who primarily uses spinning to attack. That would be super great.
But does Blinks the Cat use spinning? I wasn't sure. I've not played it.
I think Blinks uses like, if I remember correctly, it's almost like Luigi's Mansion-esque. Is it a vacuum cleaner? I don't know. I definitely played that game, so I should probably remember. We should.
I'm picturing the box, and he's definitely holding something. I don't remember what it was.
I feel like it's a vacuum. I feel I'm almost positive it was a vacuum, but it's been a minute.
Well, whatever it is, it doesn't matter because he's dead now. Let's talk about.
I'm getting in Smash.
Well, they're all third party, and I don't think that's the focus of today, is it, Push?
No, today we are supposed to be talking about what Nintendo characters could join Smash. Last week we had a stream with John Combs, Taco, and Riley Little, who's also here again today, to talk about like what third-party characters could join Smash. But this time we'll be talking about Nintendo characters only, just to do something a little bit different. A lot of people are, not even considering Nintendo characters for the next reveal, and so I thought it would be pretty fun to go over what characters could actually reasonably have a shot. And we have a team of 5 with us, so hopefully we can get to the bottom of this and get some news. Oh, thank you, Cat.
Also, Push, just are we live? Because I'm on the page and it says waiting.
No,
You're on the wrong
we are.
page.
Oh, I'm on the page. Okay,
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I messed up. I'm sorry, guys, if you guys are
Don't feel
confused.
about it, by the way. I was definitely talking about Bubsy when I was talking about spinning mascots.
Yeah, I accidentally set up 2 live streams because I was setting it up through YouTube, and then I set it up with Stream OBS, so it came out twice. So sorry if you guys were waiting in the wrong chat. Hopefully, you can find the right one. I mean, I guess everyone who's listening to this found the right one.
Perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
So tell your
I
friends.
just backed out, and then the proper one showed up.
Okay.
All right, then. Let's get to our prediction of what Fire Emblem character we think will be.
Oh no.
Well, I think we've got to Push us a specific way that we're going to approach this, right?
Yes. So what we're doing is we are in a Discord right now, and we have a list of characters, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna name a character, and we're gonna say buy or sell, and you guys in the chat can join in as well. So if you think this character has a shot of becoming a DLC character in Fighter Pass 2, please spam buy. If you think that this character has no shot in hell, then just sell. So the first character that we have is Dixie Kong. Are you guys gonna buy or sell?
I'm gonna buy, and the reason I'm gonna buy is that there are rumors of a new Donkey Kong game being revealed at E3, which means there's some synergy here, and it's a requested character. Not saying I'd go all in, but I'll buy.
Okay.
Damn. I think I'd sell on that one. And not because I don't want Dixie, but because I think that if that's your big reveal, I don't know how many people get excited about it. Not that that's a bad character. I just don't think she does much different than Diddy Kong.
I don't think any first parties are gonna do that though. Really.
I think the next one might.
Well, I'm going to buy for this because I think that considering ARMS and Xenoblade 2 are like 2 games that potentially could have been they thought about for the base game, but for whatever reason couldn't make it in. Usually it was time reasons. It's possible that they're trying to, for this DLC, just fill out the big popular requested characters from if they're doing first party ones. And I mean, Dixie Kong is like one of 2 that actually still have a chance in that department. So I think it is a possibility. So I'm going to go for buy.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looks
I'm gonna
like
buy Dixie Kong, I think, too, based on the whole rumors of a new Donkey Kong game potentially happening. I feel like if I don't buy at least some of these, I'm just gonna sell all of them because of it's a Nintendo rep, and I don't know if we're gonna get one at E3. But I think Dixie Kong, as far as does it have a shot, does the character have a shot? I think she's among the characters that does. At least if we're going by that metric of first party characters. And maybe it is E3, maybe they'll do a little extra, maybe something else is happening here. I don't like to get in the bonus fighter speculation stuff. We've been talking when we've been told explicitly only 2 more. But Dixie Kong could be that kind of Echo Fighter easy bonus type thing. So considering she's a very popular first party Nintendo character that hasn't made it yet, I'm gonna buy. I'll put buy.
Okay, so it looks like most of the chat disagrees with us.
We're not just thinking of Fighter 10 here, are we? We're thinking of also Fighter 11, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So it could be an E3 reveal, it could be a September reveal, or whenever the 2 characters are, revealed.
Actually, I'm curious, before we proceed, do you guys think we'll get 1 or 2 reveals?
My mind says 1, my heart says 2. That's what I'm saying.
Your heart says 2?
Yeah, for E3. So, I'm pretty sure there'll only be 1, but I really want there to be both.
I feel like it's so dependent on retrospective will be so much easier, obviously because we'll know, but also without knowing what the last 2 characters are, it's really hard to decide if there's going to be 1 or 2.
Here's the thing, that if both of them are revealed now, I can't see Sakurai not wanting to do like how he did with Smash for Wii U and 3DS, where he had that final, kind of Smash direct and presentation where he went over everything. It's like, this is it. This is the last thing. This is what's going on. And we're revealing Corrin and Bayonetta, which in retrospect wasn't that cool. But, there was, I don't know. I understand why they would show 2. I just really feel like Sakurai is going to want to milk that last presentation from the get-go. You know what I mean?
I mean, we could be getting there. There's nothing to say that Smash is going to be part of the E3 Direct. It could be its own thing. Just happen to be at E3.
Yeah, but I think we're going to get one proper one at E3, and I think the last one's going to be maybe in September with tune in for the last thing, and he's going to have that minute of retrospection on oh, this is what we did so far with Smash. Oh, this has been a long time. I'm really tired. I work hard. Ha 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 ha. Little Sakurai jokes. And can you believe it has so much content? We started with only this many characters. And I don't know, I really feel like I want there to be 2. I want to just kind of know. I'm fine with knowing and then getting more information later. But just because it's the very end, something just tells me that's not going to be how it is.
It's really tough to think that we'd get 2 characters at E3, and then we would wait for a Sakurai Presents for the first character, and then wait even longer for a Sakurai Presents for the second character. And that lose all the hype over time. And like you said, that second one would be like, oh, this is it. This is the final Sakurai Presents Smash Ultimate is over, blah, 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 video. And have it just be so strung out at that point. Yeah, we know the character. Whatever. We're just waiting for it. And then all that stuff you just said, like Sakurai really closing out Smash Ultimate as this big ultimate thing. If you just did that in a Sakurai Presents a character we already know video, that doesn't feel right. It definitely feels more like, to end Smash Ultimate, there will be a Smash-specific direct or whatever. But whether or not they reveal 2 characters and then there's still a Smash-specific direct at the end, and there's some, again, I hate to get totally speculative, but we're adding an addition to World of Light or something, there's some extra bonus thing at the end that makes it worthy of having a exciting Smash direct at the end, but still 2 characters at E3. Again, it feels very unknowable without knowing who the last 2 fighters are. But I do think the more likely probably scenario here is to have just one at E3, and then they get us really excited about the final character, the final Smash Direct is coming up, and do it that way.
Yeah, I think if they reveal 2, then I'm suspicious. They're doing something else to end it on like a high note.
Yeah,
I'm assuming 1.
but I don't think they're doing anything else. Like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I mean, like Sakurai's like I feel like every one of these Famitsu columns, he makes it clearer and clearer that he's like, no, this is really it. This is going to be it. And like I know Sakurai likes to troll sometimes, but I think he really just is trying really hard to set people's expectations because no one believes him. Like that's just the general vibe I get from him. Because as you can see from this chat we're having right now, nobody believes him. So every time he's all like, "We're almost done. It's going to be completely done. Just 2 more characters." I'm not saying there might not be something, but I don't know, maybe some stages or something. But I don't think anything substantial beyond these 2 character packs. Like I feel like Sakurai's the way he's wording things now makes it seem like he really just wants us to not get overhyped.
Mm-hmm. That's one issue with the Smash fans is like even if you spell it out, like people will still read into everything. Like with I remember with Smash for Wii U and 3DS, people thought that Wolf was coming. After they revealed all the characters, they counted all the characters and stages in that final Smash Direct. People were like, "Oh no, but there's still going to be more," and it's just an issue that the fandom has.
Yeah, so to get around this, you put a secret message in there, and then when fans finally find it and decipher it, it just says, "There are no more characters, go home."
Yeah.
That's
so,
awesome.
it looks...
it doesn't make marketing sense to me. To just like have 2 and then nothing for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
like no surprises or anything.
It would be weird because especially the Smash is so much. These Smash reveals are built off of kind of these little hype cycles, and if we know both of them, then the last people aren't really going to care as much to tune into that last Smash Direct unless there's something extra, because there's no more characters, and yet it's cool to see whomever's moveset it's going to be, but.
There's also this is sort of different thing I don't think we really brought up yet, but if 2 characters get revealed at E3 and one of them is extremely hype and the other one is not so hype, that's going to be tough to if they're both third-party characters. No, we're talking first-party Nintendo in this stream, but if there were third-party characters, you can't tell one company like, "Hey, we're going to reveal your character alongside this character," and they're sitting there like, "Man, you're going to take the hype away from my character if that character gets revealed beside them." So I think that is another issue with revealing 2 characters here. One potentially just totally eclipsing the other one hype-wise. And again, if they are third-party characters, maybe Nintendo would be okay with that, but 2 different third-party companies I think would want their characters to get their own, reveal moment.
Yeah, but if you have 2 characters that are different enough, I feel like the double reveal of K. Rool and the Belmonts is a good example, where they were both hyped because they were pretty different, and the same with Hero and Banjo. Like, I don't feel like either one really overshadowed the other. I know that there's a lot of big Banjo fans that would probably disagree with me, but I thought Hero was a better reveal of the 2. So, yeah, like, I think as long as they can stand separately, that's okay. And also, no matter who the last Smash fighter is, 90% of the fan base is going to hate him because it's not,
it's the last one.
Whatever. Yeah, like it's not whomever exactly you wanted. So it's a tall order.
Yeah, if they do something similar to Hero and Banjo, specifically because I think those 2 characters kind of were good for different parts of the world. Like Japan really likes Dragon Quest. I feel like the West was waiting for Banjo to get back in Smash. Not that there isn't some bleed over on both sides there. But I think those characters were exciting for different parts of the world for different fan bases. So if you did something similar to that, like, for example, Master Chief and a Tales of rap, you have your JRPG fans, kind of more for the Japanese fan base. You have Master Chief, a huge first-person shooter for the West. Something like that could work as a dual reveal. But again, that's kind of why I brought up before, that it really matters what characters are here for me to think, is a double reveal going to happen? Is it not going to happen? So it's one of those, in retrospective, it might make sense to do a double reveal. It might not make sense. It's very, very dependent on who the last 2 are, in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like most of us here are thinking that it will probably be just one reveal, unless it's unless it's two, I guess. It's really hard to say. Yeah, because yeah, it's a 50-50 shot. We're gonna be one wrong, one right.
If I was doing rate that character on the chances of two reveals, I would give it a 70%, and then if there was that for one, and then I'd give it a 60 because I'm a coward.
Well, Nervion brought up a good point in the chat, which is, do the third-party publishers even have a say when Nintendo has to announce? And I don't think they do. I think Nintendo, once they have the characters, in Smash, they control the announcement, they control the marketing.
That's a good point. Yeah. I mean, Nintendo might just throw one character under the bus if there's a really hype character and a not so hype character. Like, yeah, we're getting it over with.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I see people bring up all the time is that they believe there's profit sharing in the DLC, and I just don't believe that to be the case at all. Like, I think it's very clearly just like strictly licensed, and Nintendo has most control over how they choose to market the game, which is what these reveal trailers are.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a curious point. If we get E3, Nintendo's E3 starts and immediately does a Smash reveal, do you think that would make it more likely that there'll be a second one because it started with the Smash reveal instead of ending on the Smash reveal? So, are you thinking like, oh man, we did a Smash reveal, are they going to have another one, kind of the Hero and Banjo situation? Whereas if Nintendo's E3 opens up and we don't have Smash, we're waiting for it, I think that would immediately indicate to me that the's one reveal and it's going to happen at the end.
Depends, because they might have that Breath of the Wild 2 style something big at the end. It doesn't need to be Smash if it's a big enough Nintendo IP.
With Hero, I know that Sakurai did say like immediately after that trailer that there's more coming, and so like if you were watching Twitter and the E3 presentation, you knew that there was going to be one more Smash reveal.
Yeah, I think that I think what Genos said is if we get a reveal right at the start, then potentially that means there could be two. But if we don't get a reveal at the start, then that's almost certainly just going to be the one, whether it happens midway through or the end. Like that's going to be it. Like there could still be one if we get a reveal right at the start, because like Spazzy said, they might just end on like Breath of the Wild 2. Instead, they don't have to end on Smash, but it's more likely that there could be two if there is one at the start. Basically.
Exactly. That's what I meant, was that if it opens up and there's no Smash reveal, then it's probably just one. If it opens up and there's a Smash reveal, I think then there might be a second one. Not that there would be, but there might be.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely been, I have to go back and look, but there's definitely been instances of direct opening with a Smash reveal and there only being one Smash reveal. That's, it's happened.
I think Pyramithra.
Yeah, there you go. Pirate. It opened.
Yeah, but that wasn't E3, and E3 has traditionally had two reveals.
Well, E3 had 3 reveals one year, but whatever.
Yeah, but those. I mean, but 2 of those were in the same trailer, and then another year one of them was.
No, it wasn't.
No, in fact,
no, they're all separate.
Pac-Man, Mies, and Palutena was one year. There's no rule that there has to be 2.
No, but the ones that have always had 3 have had one of them revealed outside of the presentation.
Well, wait a minute. Are we saying that Palutena's reveal did not have Dark Pit in it as well? Are we?
Here we go. That's
it hinted.
That's 4.
All right.
Dark Pit didn't get a splash though, right?
No,
he
didn't
get a splash screen.
He jumped down and said something edgy, and then finished.
Yeah, I don't think people thought Dark Pit had actually been revealed. I think people were just like, "Oh, they just had Dark Pit in the trailer as a character."
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about it.
Pit's costume, I think, because he didn't get a splash screen, but it was clearly Dark Pit's voice, I guess, even though it's the same voice actor. I think people thought, oh, this means he's got a Dark Pit costume now. I think that was the assumption, but no, it was just playable.
They did a lot of weird stuff like that too. Like Game & Watch showed up in the Pac-Man thing, and then they didn't add him to the website. And people were like, "Is he in it?" Or they did a lot of those sorts of teases and no confirmation until release.
He's replaced by Pac-Man. That was what that was indicating.
Fan reaction was so negative that they added Game & Watch in last minute. You heard it here.
I'm trying to remember in Smash Wii U when what the E3 reveals were, because the initial one was just Wii Fit Trainer, Mega Man, and that was another three. Wii Fit Trainer, Mega Man, and Villager were all in the first year.
No, so first trailer was Villager and Mega Man, and then Wii Fit Trainer was released at E3, but not during the Direct, in a completely separate.
Yeah.
They were just playing a video of the Wii Fit trailer on like the Nintendo floor.
Yeah.
And
I
then
don't think they'd pull that sort of thing again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they'll have a reveal of the treehouse or something.
There's no like physical presence anyway.
And then a year later it was Palutena and Mies, but as like two separate trainers, and then Pac-Man was behind closed doors to just media.
Yeah, so I was actually there for all of those reveals in person. So yeah, it was wild. Like for Wii Fit in particular. Like we went to they invited us onto the E3 show floor before it opened up, so we were able to like go in before everybody, go to the Nintendo booth, and then Sakurai came out and he played as Mega Man. He played around as Mega Man, and then after that he's like, "Oh, and we have a surprise for you." And then they aired the Wii Fit trailer, and we're like, "Oh!" Like, I just remember watching that and just being absolutely blown away. It's like, what? Seriously? I was like, all right, cool. Well,
and then the year after that was already DLC, so it was Ryu and Roy. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, but that was in its own presentation the day before E3.
Well, yeah, but it was still part of the E3 event, I would argue.
Okay, well,
all right,
let's go on to the next character. So for everyone who's just joined, I'm sorry again about the mix-up with the live streams, but this is the correct one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to name a character. You can say buy or sell. Buy is if you think that the character has a shot in Fighter Pass 2. Sell if you think that they have no chance in hell. And so the next character is Waluigi. So buy or sell. And Riley, do you want to go first?
Sure.
What do you think?
So I think buy, because if it's going to be a Nintendo character at E3, I'm sure they've already worked out they've already crunched the numbers on that, and I think Waluigi would be like one of the few first-party characters that the whole fan base would get excited about.
And no, but anyway.
Except Spazzy, apparently. But
he's a main pick. Anyways.
Come on, what's wrong with meme picks though? Like I feel like he's so good. He's like the only Mario character missing at this point. And I feel like
a playable Toad is, Toad who has been playable since the second, Mario game, at least Mario USA 2, who's been in literally every one of the spin-offs, unlike Waluigi who, missed a Mario Kart is all I'm saying.
Oh, I get it. I totally understand what you're saying. It's just it's the only character that generated a Washington Post article. So stuff like
he's got bad fans.
Approach.
Bad fans that should not be.
I know, but he's so mainstream. Like he's like everybody. Like even if Washington Post can generate an article based on Waluigi being an assist trophy, there's something there. So I think that would be like one of the few that could actually arrive and people would be excited about it. Question is though, I don't know what stage he'd come with.
Here's
Waluigi
I would give him a tennis stage or something. Give him a stage based off a spin-off. What I'm going to say is Waluigi is interesting in that he's one of the only characters that has a hate base that's almost as powerful as his actual fan base. In that way, he's almost like a controversial character. There's so many people that dislike Waluigi, almost as many, but he's very well known. I'll give him that. And I actually don't hate him. I don't have strong feelings on Waluigi one way or another. He would be personally for me kind of disappointing because I don't care about him. But so would whatever the last two choices are going to be very disappointing to me because I don't care about most of these characters. So, but I would sell. And the reason I would sell is not any of the things I said before, but I don't think that they're going to make any adjustments to the assist trophies, and I don't think that they. I know anything can be upgraded. Spirits were upgraded. I don't think the assist trophies will be upgraded from this game. I just don't.
I'm selling for the same reason. I don't think any assist trophy would be upgraded. Spirits is completely different because it's just a PNG, but the assist trophies are there integrated into the game as an item. They'd either have to have the option where that item turns off if you ever pick that character, which I suppose is doable.
Yeah.
But if Waluigi's already in the game in this form, why bother making him playable when you can make someone who isn't in the game at all playable? That's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I just get that feeling, and honestly, it doesn't have anything to do with my feelings towards the character. I actually don't hate Waluigi. Like I said, I joke around a lot. I wouldn't mind if he got in. But yeah, it's just the assist trophy thing. I just don't see it happening. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
I'll buy Waluigi, but I think it's a slim chance. I'm mostly buying because I'm looking at the list of Nintendo characters we have coming up, and I feel like I'm going to be selling a lot if I don't buy some of these. And I think Waluigi has probably a slim chance, but I think there's a chance there. I could see them going out on that as the last character or something like that, because it's a character that I think out of first-party Nintendo characters has a shot of going over okay with the Smash fan base. That's just how I personally feel about it. But it's a slim chance for sure. And I think the toughest thing is the music, spirit board, stage for Waluigi makes him really tough. So again, I don't want to keep harping on extra speculative stuff that Sakurai has basically said is not going to happen by saying there's only going to be 2 more characters, but something like a plant situation, a bonus fighter, I think Waluigi could fit something like that. But that's just because I think it's really hard to give him music, spirits, and a stage. But does he have a shot? I'm going to say he has a slim shot. I'll buy him.
The spirit board, it's just different spirits of Waluigi, and the music is all just remixes of Waluigi Pinball.
And there's already 3, I think, Waluigi spirits in Smash already, but
we always do with more.
Yeah, we're getting more. But there has been a decent amount of new renderings of Waluigi all of a sudden, so maybe they're just getting a bunch ready for a spirit board. I don't know.
Yeah, Nervion in the chat said, another question, what game would Waluigi Fighter promote? That's true. I feel like whatever they're going to do is going to tie into something. But there's always a Mario spin-off. I mean, aren't there rumors of... There's some rumors of a new Mario Kart something, always, so who knows?
There's always a Mario game in the works.
There's always a Mario.
Always one to be promoted.
Yeah, I mean, if you end off on Waluigi, however that works, there's probably a Mario sports game or Mario Kart or party or something happening in the somewhat near future to be here's Waluigi, also go buy this game. So
yeah, but I feel like I was very harsh on Waluigi. I really don't hate Waluigi. I was just trying to do a counterpoint to Riley, who's everyone loves Waluigi. Waluigi feels to me like a base roster character that might get in. That would be more of a wacky character, if not a Wario, then a Game & Watch. But then again, we did get Plant as free DLC, so who knows?
I mean, Waluigi's definitely divisive, like you said, and I do think, like you're saying, he feels more like a base game character. But because of some of the things we've gotten in the second pass, I do feel like they're kind of wrapping up ideas they had before, or kind of fixing things. I could see something with oh man, the Smash fanbase really wanted Waluigi, and we made him an assist trophy. So final character, here's Waluigi. We put him in.
Don't ask us for anything ever again.
Ever again. The first party I think is a little interesting to look at because we had the 2 first parties that we got in this pass so far are definitely ones that we thought of as missing the boat in the base roster, and I don't think there's any other first parties like that besides Xenoblade 2 and ARMS. I think those were the 2 that everyone's talking about. So I don't know. Maybe we'll get
those are the ones that Sakurai
I'm gonna add it to the list.
Yeah, 1-2 switch. Buy yourself. The guy milking the cow.
What's his final Smash? The gun game, I guess.
Yes.
Gun.
He pours ice cubes on you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I guess we can move on.
Well, yeah, I would just say that I think that I would say I would buy out of all the characters that we're listing here, I would say that Waluigi at least has a shot. I'm kind of in the same position as PapaGenos. I feel like, you know, he's important enough, or like he's well known enough that, like Riley said, that the Washington Post wrote an article about him. I could see Nintendo seeing that and being like, wow, there's a lot of people who want Waluigi, and, you know, it could be an E3 reveal kind of thing, because it was such a big deal before that he wasn't.
Let me tell you,
Nintendo had to make a statement based on it, right? You know,
yeah, like even Reggie got asked several times about it.
Yeah, I remember talking to some marketing people at Nintendo, and I did an interview with them, and they just thought it was hilarious. So like, there's a lot of that internal discussion going on that could lead to something like that, and that's why I'm buying mostly.
Yeah. All right.
I just think that upgrade feels like against what Sakurai's philosophy is. But I'm not Sakurai, so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah. Sakurai does whatever Sakurai can.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
And isn't there the whole, like, Nintendo chose the DLC for the second pass or whatever, so maybe Nintendo's like, no, you're doing Waluigi. Like,
yeah.
Make it
Nintendo
work.
decided all the fighters for both fighter passes, and so Sakurai just gave the thumbs up or thumbs down. He only gave the thumbs down if, you know, they're absolutely impossible, but I think, like, with Steve, it showed that, you know, he tried his best to make the character work at no matter what request it was.
I just can't get Waluigi's innate hateability into the game properly. We can't have him in.
I would be very. Let me tell you, I wouldn't be against Waluigi's E3 because that would be a chaotic reveal, and I'd love to see all of the reactions because that. I don't know, like it. Reactions to that character are literally all over the place. So.
I think no matter what, if it's a Nintendo character, it's going to have a negative reaction because people are hyping up E3 as like, oh, it's going to be a third party, it's going to be a super big character, it's going to be Master Chief. And if it's a Nintendo character again, people will be so upset.
Yeah, I think especially, and we'll get there. We'll get there relatively soon for a franchise that I think I'm probably going to buy into. I think that one would have the... We'll get to it.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as PushDustIn. I was going to say, you know, if not just Waluigi, but basically if any first-party character gets revealed at E3, there's probably going to be a crazy reaction to it. Unless it's, I think, a double reveal. I think if you do a double reveal, you have a good third-party character, and then, you know, whatever
I agree.
Other character, that might go over smoothly. But I think if you don't have a third-party character here at E3, people are going to get very angry. But we'll see.
Yeah.
See what happens.
I thrive on the chaos, so let's do it.
The worst character that they could possibly reveal would be a Fire Emblem character, because that would upset so many people.
I added that to the list, and because here's the thing. If you don't want to actually go over a buy or sell on Fire Emblem, I mean, we can get to that.
We'll do that one here. Let me change it.
Okay. No,
Yeah, let's go on to the next one then, I guess.
Let's do Fire Emblem. Okay, so
man.
Fire Emblem,
Ooh.
buy or sell. You can. Does another Fire Emblem character have another shot? Either sometime in Fighter Pass 2.
I am buying. I think Fire Emblem is a great series that needs more characters in Smash.
I'm gonna buy it because I'm not counting Fire Emblem out ever. And Zippo was already saying that they're working on a new Fire Emblem, and other insiders have hinted at that too. And that may or may not be real, but it seems timeline wise that there probably are making a new Fire Emblem, and there's a good chance it could be revealed at E3. And if they're revealing a new Fire Emblem at E3, there's a good chance that Sakurai knows about the lore of that game, and maybe, or the Avatar character, maybe there's a chance.
I mean, at that point, if we actually got Fire Emblem revealed at E3, like,
I would think it was hilarious.
it would be a joke, right? Like, I mean, if it happened, not that it wouldn't, like, not that they'd say that that's happening, it wouldn't happen. I'm saying that, like, Nintendo would be so well aware of what this does and would just be doing it because they think it's funny or something, or Sakurai thinks it's funny, whatever. Like, there's no way they would do that and be blind to, like, what? They didn't like that again? Like.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy just because I don't Like, I just feel like Nintendo would absolutely do that.
I'm gonna buy because there's only 8 Fire Emblem characters in Smash, and there's at least over 1,000 in the series. That's only 0.8% of all the Fire Emblem characters represented in Smash.
It's a very
That number's too
underrepresented
small.
series.
Doesn't
Yeah.
even hit 1%. That's too small.
Wait, NantenJex, what's that Fire Emblem character that was on the if there was a Smash 2 poll that isn't in Smash at all? He's like an axe character, I think.
Oh, Hector, I think.
Hector, maybe Hector.
If there was a Smash 2 poll.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Sigurd, isn't it? Which is the one that
No,
potentially
it's
is
not.
getting the remake.
Oh, is it
man,
Sigurd?
his game. I'll quickly have a look.
Okay. Yeah, because
I-
maybe.
Sigurd is on there. Sigurd, Seliph, and Leaf are all from Genealogy of the Holy War. Which
But I
is
thought some of
the
them
one
had,
rumored to
stickers.
get a remake.
Yeah, and it's lining up, guys.
Ogma is the one
Ogma.
character who's on
Yeah.
that poll who hasn't had any sort of appearance in Smash
Yeah.
ever. Like, not even
Yeah.
a spirit or sticker.
So it's gonna be
Poor
Ogma.
Ogma.
Yeah, because he was
Saku's got to
on.
get them somehow.
He's been requested since Melee, so it's gonna be Ogma. He hasn't had a trophy or anything. It's time, boys.
It is time. Ogma for Fighter 10, Doraemon for Fighter 11. It's time for that. Those missing requests.
Oh my
It
god.
might be surprising, but I actually really wanted Lyn or Hector back in Brawl because I really liked that first Fire Emblem Game Boy Advance game that came over in the West. So I was like pushing for those characters back in the day. So if somehow one of those got picked, I'd be like, another Fire Emblem character, no! But then secretly I'd be like, yeah, it's pretty
It's the
cool.
one I wanted.
Not the best time to reveal them, but like, cool, we got that character I wanted, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think a big part of Fire Emblem, of the hate the series gets, is that, well, first of all, we have 4 variations of the Marth moveset, and then Ike is almost kind of a permutation of that in a way, at least spiritually. He has some of the same in his moveset. And then the fact that we do have, the timing of the reveals has been really bad for the last couple. Violet was bad, Corrin was bad, and then we do have a lot in the roster compared to other franchises where I would personally like to see.
I think the biggest issue with Fire Emblem was the timing of reveals and the strange way it seems to get like a pass where other first-party Nintendo series don't. There's very few first-party Nintendo characters that have been DLC. And Fire Emblem has 2 of them. And then, and they've been, big reveals for the ending of Smash games, both of them. And we have Chrom, who's like part of Robin's Final Smash and Victory Screen and stuff like that, getting upgraded into an Echo Fighter, where we didn't get Dixie Kong. Not that Dixie Kong has to be an Echo. I know a lot of people get kind of mad when people point that out, but we didn't get Dixie Kong. We didn't get Impa. We don't have a new Zelda rep, but we went with Chrom and added a Fire Emblem character as DLC. It just feels like the favoritism towards that series, I think, is what makes people have some animosity towards it. It's not the series itself. It's like these specific things that have happened with it for Smash.
And I think things kind of just line up for that franchise too a lot. I don't think that they're I don't think necessarily there's a lot of favoritism. Obviously, Sakurai likes the franchise and Nintendo likes to push it, but I think just it in the way it's kind of like the opposite of what Xenoblade was recently, in that Xenoblade kept missing Smash because its games were just slightly off, like X and 2, and Fire Emblem was just at the perfect time for newcomers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
always a Fire Emblem game, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
I think Chrom in particular as well was a character that Sakurai blatantly screwed over in the reveal trailer. Lucina and Robin, so I feel like he felt obligated to give the fans that moment that we're hoping for him. So an Echo Fighter was just kind of an easy thing to do.
Finally his day.
And Chrom getting in is totally fine. I was, totally cool with that when it happened. I don't think people were really against Chrom being one of the Echo Fighters. But considering how few Echo Fighters we got, the fact that Chrom was part of Robin's Final Smash and stuff. I just don't see any other character getting, like I said, a pass. It's like Fire Emblem gets a pass every time, it feels like.
Well,
But,
yeah.
but I think you hit the nail on the head with like that Xenoblade kept missing it and Fire Emblem keeps getting it. But I don't think it's favoritism. I think it is just like timing and just weird circumstances and stuff causing it to happen. Because like Elma could totally have been in Smash, but wasn't, and it's probably just a timing thing. So,
Yeah.
And I've talked about this last week, but I think like Sakurai always tries to make the last character added to either the base roster or the DLC to be a kind of promotional character or a character that is new, and that's something that we can talk about later with some of these upcoming choices. But like in order that helps like the roster feeling fresh and everything like that. And so having that timing with the Fire Emblem games is so critical because those are the games that are coming out right when the Smash roster is being decided, or like they're far enough in development that they can be added to Smash. And so it just happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Fire Emblem in particular is one that Nintendo heavily associates with Smash. I mean, we even got the limited Fire Emblem localization on Switch, and they revealed that with Melee.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot they view Smash as a really good platform for Fire Emblem. Because I mean they just don't miss it now. Every single game gets a character in Smash.
Yeah, this would definitely be the reveal that would make the fan base the saltiest out of any possible reveal. But I also would find it the funniest, so I'm actually not against it because I would just think it was hilarious. Anyways,
all right, guys.
That was a good point though about the that I think Nintendo does associate Fire Emblem with Smash. And I think a big part of that is probably because Marth and Roy brought Fire Emblem to the West, that introduced it. So I think they definitely think that the Western audience probably sees Fire Emblem. It's almost like Fire Emblem was initially a Smash character and then became its own game to a lot of Western fans, just because of how it was introduced to us.
Well, I think we're going to move on to the next character. And again, if you're just joining, you can hit buy if you think this character has a shot, sell if you think that this character does not have a shot. And the next character is Bandana D, or Waddle D sometimes. He is a friend or foe of Kirby. He's like kind of the fourth character. And let's start off with NantenJex this time. Do you think that Bandana D has a shot? Would you buy or sell?
I'm gonna buy, and it's for the exact same reasons I bought for Dixie Kong. That if their intention with adding first parties through this DLC is to sort of add all of the big popular picks that would have potentially been on the base roster but didn't make it for whatever reason, in this case, and the same for Dixie to be honest, being that they were having very limited new characters on the roster because they were bringing everyone back, but now with DLC they can make up for that, and this could be it, because I mean Bandana D is like what you've seen it from. I know fan polls aren't the best metric, but Bandana D was always rating really high on these polls, and just like King K. Rool back in the Smash 4 days, he was in like the top 3 basically always, and I'm sure Nintendo's aware of this because they were for King K. Rool. So while I think Bandana D's popularity has dwindled slightly in since those times, if they're still using those metrics from the Smash ballot, then Bandana D's still like a highly requested first party character in their eyes. So he could be there, and it could give the Kirby series more, because Donkey Kong at the very least got a new character in the base game and got some love through K. Rool, whereas Kirby didn't really get anything this time around. Like, none of his characters were cut, so everything from Smash 4 was there. Yeah, in fact, did the Kirby series get anything new? Maybe Chef Kawasaki as an assist trophy.
Yeah, they got. Yeah.
That's like the only thing I can think of.
Spazzy, what do you think?
Oh, they're the boss, Mark. Sorry.
Oh yeah, Mark's as well.
Yeah, Mark's. Oh, Mark's is awesome. But we're not talking about Mark's. We're talking about Goomba with a hat. No, I'm joking. Sorry. I actually like Bandana Waddle Dee. I think if we were arguing for base roster for the next game, probably say, hey, yeah, no, for base roster, sure. Same for Waluigi, actually. Both of them feel like base roster additions to me. I feel I'm gonna, as you can probably tell, I'm gonna sell. And the reason I'm gonna sell is that I feel like each one of these DLC newcomers has had some sort of gimmick tied to them, and has had kind of a splashy style of moveset. And I think that Bandana Waddle Dee is built in a way to be more of a standard type of character, which we haven't really seen for DLC. I feel like he doesn't feel like this sort of E3 style.
He has
reveal.
a spear.
He does have a spear. The spear can turn into other things, and that's cool. I'm not even being sarcastic there. But it just doesn't feel like an E3 style of reveal to me. It doesn't feel like a big DLC choice. I feel like Magolor has a flashier moveset that would work better. Actually, I would put Magolor as higher than Bandana Waddle Dee, to be honest, for DLC, because it just kind of feels like that. And also, I feel like if you have a first-party game, they probably want to tie it in and promote something. I know that seems a little maybe outdated to think that way, since we did have Pyra and Mithra and Min Min, and those are older games. But those are also kind of things that, like I said, miss a boat, as in like there were new games right during planning. And I don't know if there's anything that they really want to be. I mean, maybe if there's a big Kirby game coming up, it could help. It just, I don't know. He doesn't feel like an E3 Smash DLC reveal to me.
Okay, and PapaGenos, what do you think?
Yeah, I'd sell on Bandana Waddle Dee, and it pains me to say that because I think he'd be a really cool character. He's someone I really wanted in base game Smash Ultimate and thought would almost certainly happen for base game Smash Ultimate and didn't. But I just think at this point, I don't know. It feels like, yeah, he'd need like a new Kirby game kind of to have to like promote that. And I just feel like with these final two characters, he'd be a weird character to go out on. And I hate to bring this up, but probably the real reason I'm saying sell, even though I would want this character, is
yeah, me too. I want Bandana Waddle. Actually, most of the characters we talked about, I wouldn't be against. Like I kind of actually want Waluigi, even, but I do want Bandana Waddle Dee. I just don't think he's happening. But I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, Dixie Kong, Waluigi, Bandana Waddle Dee. Those are all characters I'd love to see. Get into Smash. But specifically Bandana Waddle Dee, I feel like that's more like a base game next time fighter at this point. And again, I hate to bring up this point, but we don't have that much modern day Kirby stuff, and I don't know if that's because Sakurai, made the Kirby series and he feels like he should only touch the ones that he's worked on for the most part. But like if you look at, I've seen a chart of like, what Kirby games have what representation in Smash Ultimate, and it's like shockingly low how much modern day Kirby games have representation. Now, obviously, Waddle Dees have been in Kirby for a very long time. It's not like that's a brand new character, but the idea of Bandana Waddle Dee with the spear being the like fourth Kirby mainstay character is definitely more of a modern Kirby thing. And while again, I think Nintendo picked DLC and everything like that, I feel like this is something that is so personal to Sakurai because it's his series, and for whatever reason, it feels like he's not doing the modern day Kirby stuff. Whether that's just out of respect for the people who made that, and he doesn't want to take it and make it his own, or act like he made it. I don't know what it is. It feels like there's some modesty or something going on there. So I'm selling. I don't think it's going to happen. Maybe next Smash, I could see Bandana Waddle Dee getting in somehow, but this time, for various reasons, I don't see it happening at this point.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, even though I don't think it's like outright Sakurai bias, but I think it's just like, Sakurai feels like maybe the Kirby series went in a different direction than what he envisioned it, and it kind of conflicts with what he's done with Kirby representation in Smash up until now, and so like having to reconcile those differences would be very difficult, maybe, but I'm not exactly sure, because he hasn't really talked about modern Kirby at all, and he's done some he had some minor involvement in the GBA remake for Return to Dreamland, I think, right?
I think. I'm pretty sure he was still at HAL when that came out. It was Amazing Mirror, I think, was the one where he'd left HAL, but he still had a bit of involvement.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had like a supervisor role or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm sure Nobion can correct us.
Yeah. So it's just a little weird.
But there's something there. There's something going on with Sakurai and Modern Kirby, and it might be a respect thing. Like I try to put a positive spin on it, but there's something there going on when you look at just the facts of what is in
Yeah, even the fact that the new boss that was added was Marx. I mean, that tells me something.
Right.
Yeah, I'd buy it. I think we're probably due for a new Kirby game. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Sakurai make Bandana Waddle Dee?
He did.
Yeah.
Technically, yes.
Yeah.
And it was just like an MP. He was like the joke boss in the boss rush mode.
Right.
In Superstar, he was in some of the mini games.
Yeah, he like breaks a board or a brick or something. I think he's in that, and I think.
But was that in the original version or in the remake? I don't even remember.
I think it's in the original version.
I think so too, but it's been a while.
Maybe the joke boss was only in, like, I think maybe it was just a regular Waddle Dee in the original and they made it Bandana Dee in the remake. But he's definitely got the bandana on the Megaton Punch mini game where he punches the other.
Yeah, in the Super
Nintendo. Bandana in the Meta Knight, where you board the halberd and stuff. So he appears as an NPC there, I'm pretty sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think he shows up in the background of the cage fight with DDD, which is also DDD's new Final Smash, right?
Yeah, it is DDD's new Final Smash, but in Smash Ultimate, oddly enough, he's not in the background.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, not that that's a reason to be suspicious at all, because the game's been out for almost 3 years now. But I think that he has a pretty good shot. Hal mentioned that they have they have announcements coming up. So I would think a new Kirby game's coming, and I think Waddle Dee would be a good tie-in character for that. And he's desired by the Smash fan base, so I'd give him a shot. I'd buy.
Now, while I'm still selling on Bandana Waddle Dee, I do just want to add this point because you said, Smash been out for 3 years. Can we really take something from base game as a clue or something like that? We got Sephiroth, and we did not have all that Final Fantasy stuff. And I feel like that was always going to happen.
Yeah, but we weren't missing anything from the previous game, right? So it wasn't like anything that was like removed. That would be my only counterpoint.
They just re-signed it, right? Whatever deal existed, they did it again. Yeah,
though King Dedede's Final Smash there is new to Smash Ultimate, so it's not like they removed Bandana Waddle Dee from the background of it. They added that Final Smash and opted not to make a Bandana Waddle Dee reference in the background of it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Okay, well,
anyway, my bigger point there was just that things missing from Smash might actually be clues to what we could get. That's all I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that's totally valid.
Well, we're gonna move on to our next character, and this is a character I see PapaGenos bring up a lot, so I'm gonna start off with you. And it's Porky from Earthbound. He is the main antagonist. He's been a boss character in Brawl, but he didn't return in Smash Ultimate, speaking of things missing, and he doesn't have a spirit, and so a lot of people are speculating that he might have a shot. So PapaGenos, would you buy or sell?
I'm gonna buy on Porky, and what a perfect segue of things that are missing. We're kind of randomly talking about that, and we go to Porky, whose kind of whole point of even being mentioned here is because he's oddly missing. Porky has a Smash history itself, which I think is probably the biggest reason I'd buy him, and that he's missing from Ultimate in any major way. He used to be a boss in Brawl. He's the only former boss that doesn't have a spirit. So I could see Porky happening. It's a strange choice, but kind of similarly to what we were saying with Fire Emblem is, I think, to Nintendo, they see Fire Emblem as being kind of tied to the Smash series. I think the Mother series is too. It's one of those series that really hasn't, it only has 3 entries. It hasn't anything in a long time. But the one thing that keeps it alive and a very popular Nintendo game, I think, is that the fact that it's been in Smash since the beginning with NES. So there's a tie there between those two series, and I think the toughest thing for Porky becoming a playable fighter. I do think if a first-party Nintendo character happened, Porky's in the possibilities. But the toughest thing I think is, that there's not much happening with the Mother series outside of Smash, which is sort of the point I just brought up. So I feel like to get Porky, you almost have to have like, oh, we're doing a remake of Mother 2 Earthbound or something like that, or like something has to happen with that series, I think, to almost justify Porky being one of our final characters here. But there's the possibility that, if he is not a spirit, just totally absent, and he was a former brawl boss and everything, I just feel like he needs to return in some way. There was a Mother Spirit event, and we didn't get him back there. So maybe there's going to be some extra bonus thing, maybe a World of Light expansion, maybe a boss rush mode, something else besides being playable that could bring Porky back. But I feel like something has to happen with this character. It's really, really odd that he's not here. And the fact that he's not here kind of makes me think similarly to Min Min or Pyra Mithra, that maybe at some point there was plans to have Porky and he didn't make the cut, and they're kind of saving him. I could see something happening with like the very end, just because of who Porky is. It could be, oh, secretly Porky's been working with these, eldritch horror monsters that are the World of Light bosses, and that's the final like Smash reveal, is like, oh, Porky was behind it all along. Again, he has that Smash history, and Sakurai took Ridley and he made Ridley into a playable fighter in Smash Ultimate, kind of over the fan request. So maybe he was looking at all the Brawl bosses and was thinking, how am I going to make Ridley a playable fighter? And then he was looking over at Porky like, I wonder if I can make Porky a playable fighter. So I don't know. It's a weird circumstance. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. That's totally possible too. But I don't know. There's a lot going on. I think there's a lot of cool speculation with Porky. So I'm gonna buy on Porky just based on a lot of cool speculation and what a neat character he'd be to end off on. And he has Smash history, so kind of a character for the Smash fans. I feel like Porky would be.
So I agree that to justify Porky, you would need to have something new Earthbound related happening, like a remake. And because that's never going to happen, I'm going to sell. Just like, it is weird that Porky is missing. Not even just like the boss fight, like there's no spirit of him either. And I kind of like the gag that his spirit is actually just trapped inside that, an impenetrable machine that did get a spirit.
Absolutely,
because he can't escape from that. That's why he doesn't have a spirit of his, which is fun. But I honestly think the only reason he was missing is purely like time based. Like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Porky was on like the list of, and Petty Piranha, in fact, Petey Piranha, or on like the list of potential bosses to come back, and just didn't because of time. But PD obviously got put into Piranha Plant's Final Smash instead. Whereas Porky didn't have anyone to be used, and because of that, he was just cut, and thus there was no spirit event made for him because it was going to become with the boss, and so it was also cut. That's my theory, but regardless, I'm selling.
It definitely feels like something happened, because even saying you're selling it, you're bringing up that like something weird happened with Porky. So that's the only reason why I'm really buying him. It's just I don't know what that something is. I could throw out a ton of speculation, but it does feel like something happened to cause him to not get a spirit. And maybe the Absolutely Safe capsule is a joke or something like that. But it feels like they have to harp on it a bit more to really sell that joke, where they didn't. Yeah. So I feel like it's more likely something happened with Porky. Either they were going to make him a boss and it didn't happen, and then he just somehow didn't happen. But then they had a Mother Spirit event afterwards where they could have easily just thrown Porky back in, especially because they're just the sprites from the game, so it's not even like difficult to get some new artwork or something. I don't know. He's just in such a weird spot. I find him very interesting, if nothing else.
Okay, and Spazzy, what do you think?
I'll keep this one quick. I pretty much exactly what Jex said. I'm selling, and I think he was almost definitely being planned as a boss, and just didn't make it, and that's why he's not in the game. I don't think it's anything more or less than that. And I think that's why he doesn't have a spirit or anything else, is because he was planned to be a boss. I think I love the Mother series, but I think it's essentially a dead series, and it would be weird to make that kind of this one of the last 2 DLC releases for this game.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think I'd probably sell, for the same reason that you guys are saying. Not, and I do think that I'm sure something was planned for Porky and it just didn't shake out. And in order for him to be, a relevant character for promotional purposes, they'd need a remake of the original or to release Mother 3. And if Grezzo's up to the task or someone like that to remake the original Earthbound, then that'd be sweet. But I just don't see that being something that happens this year.
Man, I think that the Link's Awakening style would work so well.
That's that's exactly what I'm thinking too. Maybe you could even apply the clay looking style to
just like a clay texture.
Yeah,
use that. Yeah, that would be an excellent looking remake. Anyways.
Yeah.
And that is the style of the Mother series. That's what they wanted it to look like, clearly, because that's what all the artwork and stuff for it is, these little clay figurines. So it would be so good in the Link's Awakening style. So probably very slim chance Nintendo's doing anything with the Mother series, but if somehow they are, I think that would instantly make Porky way more likely. But the chances of them doing something with the Mother series, it's a tough sell, especially if Nintendo's choosing the DLC. It's tough for me to think that the Nintendo higher-ups would be like, let's put Porky in Smash as the final character or something like that. without also having we have a game that we're going to sell alongside with this.
Etoy just bursts into the room, put Porky in Smash. So, alright, calm down.
yeah.
Toy-san, please.
For me, I think Porky, I'm also gonna sell. I don't think he has a particularly good shot. I think even if Earthbound 3 comes to the West, I don't think he has a good shot. Because I just don't see how much he would advertise to fans who are not who are not Earthbound fans. It's not a character that you can immediately play as and stuff like that. So I think it appeals to the hardcore fan base, but not really the normal fans. So let's go on to the next character, and this one I guess I'll talk about first because I've been making you guys go first every time. And that's the next character is a Breath of the Two Wild rep. You guys originally wrote Zelda, but I'll do just general rep character. I want this to happen, personally, bias and everything. I think a Breath of Wild 2 character would be perfect for the game, because Zelda needs. I feel like Zelda has gone so many games without a new rep, so it would be really refreshing to see a new character. So do you guys think it's gonna? Do you guys buy or sell?
Are you buying then, Push?
Yes, I am buying on Breath of the Wild 2.
You're all in.
I'm all in.
I would sell, and I say that because I feel like a Zelda character is definitely like a strong possibility, but I don't know if you roll into E3 and drop another Zelda down. I think that there's probably going to be some interesting characters in that game that they could pull from, but I do not see Zelda getting the role, especially when I would assume. I'm assuming that Zelda and Link are both playable, and you could probably jump between the two in the new game, because there's so much demand for a female Link and stuff like that. But I think
are we buying and selling for particularly the character of Zelda in Breath of the Wild 2?
We can do
just
a representative from Breath of the Wild 2.
Okay, I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just I think that Link sort of I feel like you could just add an echo of Link. In that case, I don't think there's going to be anything drastically different about the character. They might have some new tablet gadgets and stuff like that, but I feel like Zelda's are pretty well represented as a character in particular. Maybe another Zelda rep though. I'd buy on a new Zelda rep, but I wouldn't buy on Zelda.
Okay. How about Spazzy? What do you think?
I think I'm gonna buy for a general Zelda rep. Breath of the Wild 2 is a big game that they need to advertise, but at the same time, Breath of the Wild 1 was huge, so it'll sell well. So you have something that needs to be advertised, but it's also from something that's very successful and will sell well. There you go. That's what Nintendo wants, right? Plus, it's a series that's slightly underrepresented in Smash. I don't know who it would be, but we also, I'd imagine Breath of the Wild 2 is far enough along that Sakurai and the team knows who and what is in that game. Mm-hmm. So there might be a new villain, there might be something interesting that can be turned into a character. I'm not super confident, but since we're doing a binary buy or sell, I'm buying.
Okay. How about you, PapaGenos?
Yeah, I'd buy on this one. Not necessarily because I really want this to happen. I'd love to get a new Zelda rep. But I feel like the whole idea of like Breath of the Wild 2, a rep from that game, kind of harkens back to something you were talking about before, PushDustIn, that like to have Smash Ultimate go out on a game that's going to either come out in the future after Smash Ultimate has already kind of ended, or just a very modern game. It feels like Nintendo ends on that a lot. Makes a lot of sense to me for it to be Breath of the Wild 2, as that's probably going to be a really big game for Nintendo. And to look at the Smash Ultimate roster and not feel like, oh, the most recent character on there is, a character from like
Fire Emblem.
2019 or something like that. It's going to be, oh, it's a Breath of the Wild 2 character. It's a character from 2021 or 2022. It's going to make the Smash Ultimate roster last a bit longer, as feeling, fresh or new in the eyes of Nintendo. I feel like the Smash fans would probably want, other characters or something like that. But and I don't know. It's just this particular 2. I know a lot of people are talking about just like Breath of the Wild 2 rep in general, but specifically Breath of the Wild 2, Zelda herself. I could see a big selling point of Breath of the Wild 2 being you can play as Zelda now, and it just feels like such a Nintendo, like a very like blind to the fan base Nintendo move to be like, and she's gonna be in Smash. Isn't that exciting, guys? And everybody's like, really? Like, you went with Zelda again? I could just see it happening for whatever reason. It just seems like something that could happen, in my opinion. It's not really what I want to have happen, but I could see it happening.
And NantenJex, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going buy on both Breath of the Wild 2 rep and it specifically being Zelda. I just feel like Breath of the Wild Zelda is like a very popular incarnation of Zelda. And Breath of the Wild Link in Smash has a few things from Breath of the Wild included, like, the remote bombs and stuff. But he's still Link. He still plays like Link plays in all the other Smash games. He doesn't use like any other than the bombs, I suppose, for the Sheikah Slate. He doesn't use anything else specifically from the Sheikah Slates there, which is such a big part of Breath of the Wild. And I feel like, Sakurai said the only reason they didn't go with Breath of the Wild Zelda is because she didn't really feel much like a fighter. Like, she didn't really feel like someone who would actively go in battle. But between Age of Calamity and potentially her being playable in Breath of the Wild 2, we obviously don't know for sure, but if she is, that sort of resolves that problem he had. So I feel like... and also Zelda is still Zelda, which is still highly recognizable, which is the problem the Zelda series has in Smash. All of its reps come from the 3 pieces of the Triforce, the 3 most recognizable characters in that series, and there's a reason for that. It's because every other character basically changes every game, but Link, Zelda, and Ganon stay the same pretty much. Like, the consistent point for every game. And so with thinking of all those in mind, I feel like Zelda, short-haired Zelda with like a Sheikah Slate and maybe some other stuff from Breath of the Wild 2 just feels like a very likely choice. And I don't think people wouldn't be hyped for it. There'll obviously be some people who are a bit disappointed that we get another Zelda, but just like how there were people super excited about Pyra and Mithra, I feel like there are going to be people really happy that Zelda's Breath of the Wild version managed to get into Smash finally. After people, I guess there were people who were disappointed that she didn't make it into the base game. It's been so long now.
Well,
yeah, I'm buying them both.
Cyberwolf
You brought up a
actually.
good point about Sakurai mentioning Breath of the Wild Zelda as well. It's really kind of strange, I feel like, that he brought up that. And he also said something about Zelda and Ganon's amiibo not having like their modern versions. I mean, it's probably reading too much into what Sakurai is saying, but it did stand out to me that he's brought up Zelda multiple times during the Sakurai Presents. It's just a little weird.
Yeah, and also like building off of that, like, do you guys think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be out this year? And if not, do you think they'd release a Smash character, 3 to 6 months before the game releases?
I think it's going to be out
Zelda.
this fiscal year.
You think it'll be out like March 2022?
Whether or not it is holiday season 2021 or, before the end of the fiscal year in early spring 2022, I think that 6-month span is probably, the sweet spot of where it's going to come out. But I think they're probably going to try to push it out before holiday season. But the pandemic and everything, it's so tough to guess whether or not they'll be able to. So it's a tough thing. I'll say, hopefully, yes. It'll be this year, but I don't know.
They can't plan for delays. I mean, so
Yeah. No, that's totally valid.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not delayed, it will. I mean, like, if it's Zelda, then it doesn't matter if the game is delayed or not, because like she's already well known, and like it's already known like what her characteristics are. And even if her moveset contains a little bit of spoilers, they could reveal all that information beforehand, I think. So, actually, Cyberwolf JV brought up a good point, which is, and this kind of relates to everything that we're talking about, is that if they introduce one-off characters, kind of like Midna or Fi, like, do you think that those characters would have a shot in Smash, or are we just talking about Zelda?
Tingle.
Only Tingle. And if Midna comes back, I think Midna for sure, because she's ignoring the top 3 from Zelda. Midna is like the other really popular one that even Aonuma has mentioned being really popular, and potentially the only counter to Midna is that she's already an assist trophy.
What's funny?
Unless she has a completely different design, like a Breath of the Wild inspired design, that's a big problem. Same for Skull Kid, obviously, he's already assist trophy as well.
Yeah.
And Tingle is no longer an assist trophy.
Don't do that, man.
He's missing.
Don't go down that road.
Could he be our first 18 sim rep?
I'm sorry. I can't like Tingle while everyone champions Waluigi.
No.
You get your weirdo, I get my
You
weirdo.
can't do that. You're not allowed.
E3 Waluigi Tingle double reveal.
In the same trailer, that would be the dream.
You couldn't even be mad. That would be hilarious.
It would be pretty good.
They'd have to do like the banjo reveal, and the silhouettes are like Master Chief and Crash, and then no, it's Waluigi and Tingle.
I'd be satisfied. Tingle's a weird one though, because Tingle, I think, first of all, I do think Tingle would be hilarious. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm kind of lukewarm on Waluigi. Probably because they're not going to give Waluigi his crotch chop taunt, and if he doesn't have that, what's the point?
Mario Strikers victory animation, that's
right?
gotta be
exactly.
part of
You have to.
The rating for Smash Ultimate skyrockets.
It's kind of funny because Tingle does have a lot of spin-offs and everything, and he kind of does make sense. I think if we get a Zelda rep, it's going to be tied directly to Breath of the Wild too. But
so kind of on that subject, we're sort of talking about like Midna and the one-off Zelda characters, Fi or Fi, however people pronounce that.
Oh, thumb.
Yeah, Skull Kid, whoever. The one-off Zelda characters that are very popular. Considering we're getting a Breath of the Wild 2, maybe they could do something like, a 4-in-1 champions character if they factor majorly into this game or something like that. Because I do feel like one of the big issues with adding those one-off Zelda characters has always been that they're one-off characters, which makes someone like Impa or Tingle seem more likely to get into Smash, or Zelda again, or Link again, or Ganon again. And maybe if Ganon's a big part of this new game with that cool skeleton Ganon or something, like, I could see somehow maybe like the champions, or if there's a character that was in the original Breath of the Wild that is now once again returning for Breath of the Wild 2, they are now a character that has, been in multiple Zelda games, and suddenly that might make them eligible to break that weird fan Smash rule. I mean, I don't know if it's a real rule or not, but it feels like that's preventing those one-off characters from getting in as playable fighters. So yeah, maybe something like that'll happen. I don't know who that character would be, though.
Gandorf.
Wet
Yeah.
Ganondorf.
Wet Gandorf for the win.
Honestly, one of my most wanted characters for a while now, I don't talk about it a lot, is kind of classic Blue Pig Ganon. I don't think I don't think there's like any chance of that, but that is a character I want a lot, because you would have kind of this big character with this crazy disjoint attack because of the trident and weird kind of trap magic. He could teleport. He'd have fire bats. We currently have 0 characters that are capable of summoning fire bats, which is a travesty. And Ganon could. Also, I just feel like
make a good point.
Until A Link to the Past Zelda, like, they really kind of just ignored pretty hardcore the original classic top-down style Zelda games. So it'd be cool to get somebody to represent kind of classic Zelda that way. But I don't think it's going to happen, but that's just always been a want of mine.
That would be a really sweet character, especially the trident is similar to like the bandana Waddle Dee thing of having like a spear user. Like, it's a weird disjointed hitbox character that it's so simple, it feels like we should have one by now, but we don't. So yeah, it'd be cool to get a character that does that.
Yeah, and I feel like, I guess the only character that we have now that's kind of similar would be, because of all of the tricky projectiles, is kind of K. Rool, but it would still, be like K. Rool with a trident and a teleport.
Okay.
0 trident users. I agree.
Or just any spear users. Like, we could get one from Fire Emblem. We could get bandana Waddle Dee. Yeah, there's options here, but it hasn't happened yet.
All right, on to the next
well,
one.
Next one is a game that Nintendo has worked with Platinum Games to release, and Nintendo fully owns this IP, so it's a possibility that we would get a character from this franchise. It's a relatively new one, and that's Astral Chain. So NantenJex, you suggest this, so I'm gonna pick on you first. Would you buy or sell Astral Chain's protagonist getting a shot in Smash Fighter Pass 2?
So despite my suggesting it, I'm going to sell. I think the series actually has... So the series is weird, right? Actually, no. You know what? I will say buy, but under one condition. That they announce Astral Chain 2. Because Astral Chain 1 clearly had like a spirit event already. That I think sort of dampens its chances of getting a playable character, because I feel like they'd have held off. But that's for Astral Chain 1. If they're working on Astral Chain 2... a sequel, potentially even with a new protagonist, then I think that there's more you could do there. And like, there are only 2 Astral Chain spirits. They added the 2 main characters, and that was it. There's the Howard siblings. So there's plenty more characters they can choose. Oh, and they added the mascot. There's plenty of more characters they can choose for spirits and stages and all sorts like that. So I think with Nintendo actually buying the full rights to Astral Chain now, and that's that game doing much better than they expected, this could be what the new character that didn't exist before but now does exist thing that we were talking about earlier that Sakurai usually likes to do for the last one. It could be an Astral Chain 2 protagonist or something like that. So I will actually buy for this one.
Most of the chat is saying sell.
Well, too bad.
Spazzy, what do you think?
I'm gonna agree with the chat and say sell. I think it's a new franchise. It did well. It already got a spirit event. We don't know if there's a sequel in the works right now. And like, maybe if this was, character, if there was a Fighter Pass 3 and this was the second character in that pass, maybe, but I don't think so. I just feel like it's a smaller franchise. It's a new franchise that did well, but it's smaller. It already had a Spirit event. I just don't feel it.
Yeah, I actually agree.
Plus,
with you.
I think if you're using two characters, we already had that issue with Pyra and Mithra, where they said, "Hey, we couldn't have them and Rex out," and you kind of need to have if you're doing the first game in particular, one of the Howard siblings. Even if you just do one of them, you'd have one of them, and then you'd have their what are they called, Jex? I haven't played that game since it came out. Their
no, it's I haven't either actually. The best stands.
Yeah, exactly.
Stands.
Yeah, they're big summonable monster things.
They're personas.
Yeah, what are they called? Oh my gosh, this is gonna bother me unless I look it up. Chat, what are they called in Astral Chain?
Is it? It's Legions.
Legion.
Oh, there you go.
Just check the back of the box.
Legions, yeah. So I think it might be difficult to have them and their Legion out all the time, and I think you kind of need that for that game to work. For the mechanic for the game to be represented properly, you need a character and a Legion out at all times.
Yep. PapaGenos, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm going to sell on this one. I think it's a really good point that if a sequel was coming out, and a sequel probably will happen at some point, maybe that could be one of those games that promotes, a kind of future game or an upcoming game or something, and that's a good way to end off on Smash. And I think that the Spirit event that happened for Astral Chain, while I usually think Spirit events are pretty good indicators that they're probably not going to get a character from that. If a sequel was happening, then maybe that would throw them back in the mix. But I think maybe for like the next Smash or something, this could happen. Mattering to where that series is at that point. But I think the real thing that's going to stop an Astral Chain character from happening is that whole idea that Sakurai literally said he tried to get Rex and Pyra, Rex and Mithra to work, couldn't do that. He had trouble getting the Ice Climbers to still function and everything. And I think the whole reason to do an Astral Chain rep as a playable rep in Smash would be for that type of moveset. And it just seems like that's not possible right now. So I already think their chances are, kind of a slim maybe type thing, even if the Spirit event hadn't happened. But then considering what the character would probably have to play like, or the whole point of doing, a character with that kind of gameplay, what Sakurai said about Rex and Pyra and stuff, I don't see it happening now.
Yeah, somebody brought up Joker with Arsene as being a way it could work when I'm saying it can't. But I don't know. I feel like the Legions do so much more. Like in the game, they do so much of your fighting for you. I don't know. I
you
feel
probably
like
need to cycle through like all 5 of them somehow, or at least 4 of them.
Yeah, it would. I don't know. I just feel like it would be a difficult character to implement as well on top of everything else. Not that Sakurai shies away from difficulty, but there definitely are also technical limitations to keep in mind. Unless we have a Switch Pro exclusive character.
It's gonna be revealed in like 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, let's keep waiting on that one.
When is the next hour? Because it's every hour is when it's going to get revealed.
30 minutes is the next
minutes,
11 o'clock for Japan.
All right,
time.
half an hour to go, guys.
Yeah.
Get excited.
Keep an eye on them clocks.
Huge.
Riley.
I don't know what I can say that hasn't already been said, but I feel like I'd sell on that. If there's an Astral Chain 2, sure, maybe, but I feel like after the Spirit event and everything, I just don't see it happening.
Okay. And I've already said that I would sell, so let's get ready for our next one. And this is another one like Fire Emblem, where we talked about before, where it's a whole series, so there's a lot of different reps that could go in different ways. But we already know that there's two games coming from this series in this next year, and that's Pokemon. Pokemon is getting the remakes of Diamond and Pearl, and they're also getting the Legends, was it Arceus? A game in January, so they still kind of have a shot of becoming a Fighter Pass 2
right, and
character.
Jenny never got a rep either, so there's always a possibility they could do that.
Yep, and or even Gen 9, they could even just do a future
Yeah,
character.
they could
Just
totally
skip.
skip Gen 8.
Yeah.
Isn't that such a Smash Brothers thing with Pokemon where everybody's focused on one gen and then by the time Smash comes out, they already have a Pokemon for the next gen in the game?
hmm
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
every
like Ruby
time-
and Sapphire got skipped
People are
entirely.
like, Zoroark's definitely going to be in this game. You
Yeah.
have to do that.
They also
Yeah.
didn't give Incineroar a stage, so Sun and Moon didn't even get a stage, which was kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That is an odd one.
So I'm gonna go
I go
slight
back and
by.
forth. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm
Take
gonna
a
go
shot,
slight. Take a shot. So I'm gonna do a slight buy just because I could see it happening. I wouldn't be terribly excited about it, but I could see it happening, and there's a lot of choices, and it could go a lot of different ways. But Riley, do you want to go next?
Sure. I go back and forth on it. Because like we got the Sword and Shield Spirit event, which I feel like wouldn't be necessary if they're adding a Sword and Shield character. But then also they added the Team Rocket Me outfit, which made I feel like you would hold that maybe. Not that Me's disconfirmed that, Rex totally ruined that theory, but I go back and forth on it a lot. And also I'm kind of waiting on the new Pokemon Snap Spirit event, which I'm assuming is going to happen, but it hasn't yet.
Ooh, Pokemon photographer. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
right? Like the Neo.
Odd snap.
Oh yeah. Todd and the Neo would be such a cool idea for like a newcomer, but yeah, I go back and forth on it. I could see it happening. I don't know if Legends of Arceus will have a new Pokemon that would make it worth promoting or something. It's hard to say. So
Yeah, but you know what Legend of Arceus has is some pretty sweet random starters. So we have the legendary Pokemon trainer with Cyndaquil, Dewott, and Decidueye with Arceus as the final smash.
and I feel like that is like a final character or even an E3 reveal would be pretty palatable because it's like 3 in 1.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's the only way I'd be hyped about Pokemon.
I absolutely love the idea of like this also feels just very Nintendo, very Sakurai to set us up for E3 we get Challenger Pack 10, and then for months we get like the final character, who's it gonna be, and then we get that character and surprise it's multiple characters or something like that. So it's like you expect one more, it's 3 Pokemon, something like that. It just feels like I don't think that's going to happen, but it feels like the sort of way to end Ultimate and that kind of pull the rug out from under everybody's feet. That we expect to really build us up for one more character and then surprise give us more than one in one fighter or something like that. Just I could see that weird I don't even know what to call it, ending would just feel very like a very Sakurai move or something.
Yeah,
PapaGenos.
and then you also get sorry, I keep cutting you off, Push.
I was gonna ask PapaGenos. There is the voice files, right? There's like folders or something like in was it Word of Light or just in the sound test that aren't used, and there's like certain number of folders or something like that. Am I just making stuff up?
I think that was literally just that the screen to be squared off had extra spots. I don't even know. I'd have to go look at that again. I don't even know with Pyra and Mithra if it is now like 2 more finishes off. I know for music tracks from series right now, there's 2 more spots to square off the ending of that, which implies the last 2 characters, if they're shooting to even square that off. I don't know if they even care. It could imply that the last 2 characters are from unrepresented series. As far as things actually in the files, I feel like there was like a Smashboards post about that, but I think it might have, and I may have even misread it. I think it may have been misread as that it was like in the game as like code or data, and it was actually just spots to square off that screen.
Oh, okay.
I'd have to look into that. I've sort of moved away from that mattering much because it feels like everything trying to be like completely filled out in the game just. There's so many, like the stages aren't going to be totally filled out. The character select screen's not going to be totally filled out. There are ways to get there, but I don't know if that's all going to actually be like something we really shoot for.
And I'm sorry for riding over you, Riley, but you can go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know Sakurai, he's talked about discussing whether it was going to be Incineroar or Decidueye, and that'd be a cool way to go back to that character, which I think wouldn't have a chance of getting it.
I'm going by the way. I don't think we actually.
Yeah, I'd go by.
Spazzy, do you want to elaborate?
It's Pokemon, man. I think an individual Pokemon is likely and is the sort of thing that I personally would not be very hyped at all for. I'm not a huge Pokemon guy. But it just feels like it's Pokemon, you know. It's one of those franchises you don't count out. It feels like it's kind of due. Like Incineroar was kind of lackluster in his inclusion, not because he's of anything in particular as far as a character, but he didn't even get a stage. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of Pokemon projects coming up. There's remakes. There's still stuff with Sword and Shield. There's the Arceus game coming out. Snap just came out. Pokemon's very active right now. It's always one of the biggest franchises in the world, in just in general, not just in gaming. So yeah, I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think it's a pretty likely bet for a first party. So buying.
Okay. Does anyone else have any thoughts? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think NantenJex, you already went, or did you not?
No, I haven't
Okay,
said
go
a
ahead.
single thing yet.
Go ahead.
about
I'm sorry.
Pokemon, and that's because it's a sell. I don't think we'll get a Pokemon. Personally, I really like Spazzy's idea of the Legends trainer, because I think those are really good starter picks. That, and I like the idea of it covering multiple series. But otherwise, because if it's not that, I don't know what you would have from Legends Arceus, because I don't know how else you would be able to do the trainer. They wouldn't have the trainer fighting alongside the Pokemon. As cool of an idea as that would be, I'm pretty sure the Pokemon Company has been very adamant when they were talking about Pokemon Masters that they don't want trainers fighting with Pokemon. It could have been with Masters, it could have been with Pokken. I can't remember which one. I think it might have been Pokken actually. But yeah, so I don't see that happening. And then Gen 8 already had a Spirit event, and so I don't really see that happening. And Gen 4 already has a Pokemon in Lucario in the game, so it's not like they need anything for the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and I don't think they would use a Smash Brothers slot for that anyway, considering those two remakes feel like definitely a less important project than Legends. Basically, if it's going to have a Smash character, it's going to be from Legends, but I don't know what they would pick from it.
You don't think Stormdagu has a chance?
No, I do not think Zakian or whatever his name is has a chance. He already has a Spirit for starters, and it's a post-launch Spirit, so that actually matters as far as I'm concerned.
It's gonna be a Pokemon that will disappoint everybody, even the Pokemon fans, like Zarude or something.
Zarude Sandstorm. The Zin.
But what
Yeah,
about
I'm
Gen
a
9
saddle.
that's Nervion? That's a good question. It's a good question.
Gen 9 is actually just a remake of Gen 1, so it's all the Gen 1 Pokemon again. So you're going to get your 6th Gen 1 Pokemon.
So we're gonna get
Gengar.
standalone Charizard coming back with Rock Smash.
Yeah, alternate Mega Charizard as his own character. Sell.
Okay, so looks like we are ready for the next character. And
Can I make one more point on Pokemon?
yeah, go
Is
ahead.
that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. So I'm kind of on the fence about it, but I think I'm gonna buy just because I never want to count out Pokemon. It just seems like something that can always maybe
It's like
happen.
Fire Emblem. It's like I'm never gonna not say it's gonna happen.
I feel like if I say sell, then it's gonna happen just to bite me. But yeah, so there's just a couple points. Decidueye was, I think it's like Decidueye and Alucard are the only other two characters Sakurai has specifically mentioned as being like characters he almost put in Smash Ultimate and then didn't. And that
That's
was
correct.
there was so there's Xenoblade 2, there's Arms, and then there was Decidueye and Incineroar, who wasn't sure which one, and then Alucard or the Belmonts, he wasn't sure which one. Obviously, Decidueye and Incineroar and Alucard of the Belmonts are a little different because it seems like he chose someone else. Whereas Xenoblade and ARMS were series he wanted to, or Xenoblade 2 and ARMS were, series he wanted to put in, but it didn't have the time for. But still, because a lot of this past has been stuff that almost happened, and that Legends Arceus happens to have Decidueye as one of the final evolution starters, makes it somewhat relevant. So I don't want to count that out. And then I thought of something, and I don't know if this is what you were talking about, PushDustIn. I think you meant the data in the game mattering to how many characters we might end with. Is that correct?
Maybe that's it. The Word of Light. It maybe something to do with Word of Light and how many characters can fit in that.
So you were
character select screen.
Like getting a 3-in-1 at the end.
Yeah.
Because there's another Pokemon like theory or whatever. The crowd cheer theory, which doesn't have to do amount of characters. But it might count out the whole idea of getting a Pokemon. It's kind of a paperclip together theory, so I don't consider it like really completely ruling out Pokemon, but it's just this theory that so far with Fighter Pass 2, the characters have only had either English or Japanese voices, even in the crowd cheers for them, whereas in Fighter Pass 1, like Byleth has the crowd cheering in like German and French and English, and it's all different. But for Fighter Pass 2, every character either has like no voice like Steve, Japanese like Sephiroth, which might be because of the Final Fantasy VII English voice actors and the fact that Cloud already has just a Japanese voice. But the crowd cheer theory is just that we haven't called back voice actors at all for anyone in Fighter Pass 2 from any other languages other than English and Japanese. And potentially that means that none of the Fighter Pass characters are going to need voice actors from all those different regions. So a character like a Pokemon that would need voice actors from all different regions probably isn't happening. Or they'd have already been in touch with those different countries or whatever. I suppose an exception could be made for Pokemon, but that's the theory. Just wanted to throw that out there as far as Pokemon chances.
Yeah, go ahead, Spazzy.
No, I was gonna say I can see it. They're probably trying to lessen the costs and expenses as DLC goes on. But I think if they really wanted to do something with a character like Pokemon, they would just be like, well, for this case, if we're gonna do it, we'll bring people in. I don't think that they would stop. They would let a decision like that stop them from choosing a character.
Yeah, that's why I said bye despite that theory, because I never want to count out Pokemon. And if they wanted to, they'll just go ahead and call them in. The theory is more like a logic thing though. It's more like if a character is on the Fighter Pass, that they are talking to different voice. And I don't want to say companies, different countries that have different voice groups or whatever, that they probably have already started doing those crowd cheers in different languages because they have a character they're going to have to call those companies anyway. But if they, it kind of indicates that they probably don't in the future, or they already would have. Again, I think they could make the exception, but you have to kind of think of it not as, time is going on and these characters are happening later. It's like at one point when they decided the pass, they would have had all those voice acting places on board to do some recordings. So it's weird. I buy Pokemon, so I'm not saying this totally deconfirms one, but I get the logic here. I understand where that theory is coming from, and it might count out a Pokemon.
I feel like the crowd cheers in different languages besides English and Japanese, like that would probably be recorded at Nintendo of Europe, which is like located in Germany, right? So like I think like Germany, like they had Nerbion, please correct me if I'm wrong, they've had like lockdowns and stuff like that over this past year, so it could have been a restriction just based on that, and maybe they were unable to record those other languages because of local issues, right? And so in the future that could all be resolved, and the people who are recording the crowd cheers, they're probably not the same people who are doing the voice acting for the Pokemon. So I don't know. I think I understand your point, but I don't think it would, like Spazzy says, I don't think it would matter in this case for Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of on board with they'll just make an exception for Pokemon, even if they had to just have, the Pokemon company send over voice clips already recorded and use those to make the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's ways around this. But I get the logic of that theory. I just think it's worth throwing out there when discussing the possibilities of a Pokemon rep at this point. And also, some people do think even the crowd cheers that we got in English may have been recorded by the Japanese crowd cheer. Like the same person might have just kind of said it in English. Just if you listen to them or if you look at what they sound like and what they are, just Japanese.
Yeah, they have a slight accent.
What happened with Fighter Pass 1. Yeah, they have a slight accent and just only having English and Japanese almost feels like they just had like one person come in and make the crowd cheers, and they're not, whatever they did for Fighter Pass 1 is not what they're doing for Fighter Pass 2. So there's some restrictions there, some things happening. It may be a pandemic thing like you brought up. So yeah, just a point worth touching upon.
Okay. Does anyone have anything else that they want to add before we move on to the next character? No? Okay. So the next character is from a game that was recently remade for the Switch, and that is Ayumi Tachibana. She comes from Famicom Detective Club, and her first two games were remade by Mage, and so we want to know if you would buy or sell her chances in Smash. NantenJex, I think it's fitting that you go first for this one.
So, as much as I wish I could buy, I'm going to sell on this one. I think Mii costume for sure, or well, I don't want to say for sure, but Mii costume I would buy. Spirits I would buy, but the fighter, and it's so here's the thing, right? A lot of people say that the reason Ayumi, because she was obviously considered for Melee, that a lot of the main reason she wasn't chosen was because people in the West didn't know her, and that is true. That is part of the reason. But the other reason is that the idea of Ayumi slapping Mario wouldn't really be in fitting with the character and the series it's from. Like, Sakurai had a concern back then that fans of Famicom Detective Club might find it a bit strange, basically seeing Ayumi in a brawl. And Sakurai's changed his opinions over the years. Like, Villager he thought would be a weird one to be fighting in Brawl, and then made him a fighter in Smash 4. But I feel like Villager is like cartoony enough where you can get away with doing stuff like that, whereas Ayumi isn't, and it's still a detective game and stuff like that. And so with thinking all that in mind, I think it's primed for other types of material like Spirits and Mii's, but not a fighter. So I am going to go on the sell for this, as much as I wish I could say the other one. As much as I wish I could buy.
Okay, and PapaGenos?
Yeah, she'd be a really cool character. I'd actually really like Ayumi to get in. I like the idea. First off, I love the idea of characters from like that almost made it into like Melee. Like, I love the idea that Sakurai has these ideas for characters or characters you mentioned a long time ago that have built up fan bases, and there's people who over the last decade have been like, oh, that almost happened? I'd love to get this. I'd love for that to happen. And I think the idea of having like a point and click style character, like I'm picturing what Sakurai did with like Hero and actually having like an RPG menu. It'd be so cool if she popped up a menu, or you had like a mouse cursor that was like doing stuff around her. Like, that'd be so cool. But I'm gonna sell on her. I just don't think it's actually going to happen. I totally agree with the idea of maybe a Mii costume, maybe a Spirit event, especially now that it's a series that's been localized and everything. But I just don't see it actually happening as a fighter. It would be cool. But I don't see it happening.
Riley, do you want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, I kind of am half expecting a Spirit event to show up, but I'm gonna sell as well. I just don't see the character happening. I think it would be cool if you could make like I haven't played Famicom Detective Club, but I'm assuming there's a murderer in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there
so like, it'd be cool if her whole moveset was based on her like avoiding the murderer, and he would spawn and like stab someone or do whatever he does. Like that would be neat. Like, there's a lot of room for like a really unique fighter in that character. But I just don't see it happening because I feel like Nintendo in general has been pretty nonchalant about the re-release.
Mm-hmm.
So I think probably I'd sell. Although I think the character could be really fun.
What if you have to like go around the stage and find clues, and that allows you to somehow hurt the like your opponent? Like, there's just so much cool. Like, I just feel like Sakurai. I want to see Sakurai take this character and make a fighter out of them because it just seems like something that has so much cool potential to be extremely unique. But yeah, I'm also selling. I just don't see it happening. But it would be cool.
Spazzy, what do you think?
I think it would be hilarious if she got in over like a Phoenix Wright or Professor Layton. That's number one, because it's such a long time request. I think it's a very interesting character to talk about, and it's a character that was considered for. She's a character that's considered for Smash before, and I'd be fine with her inclusion. But I think at the end of the day, I'm going to have to sell. There's just not enough going for Yami.
Yeah, I think at most she'll probably be a Mii fighter. I hope that she's a Mii fighter because it would show that Nintendo has some interest in promoting that game a little bit more. But as it was mentioned before, I don't think Nintendo has really been too heavy on promoting it, so I'm not sure what her chances are.
Ayumi herself is... I don't know. It would be a character that would be challenging to design a moveset for, but it's possible. It's a franchise that's even niche in Japan. It's not like this huge thing. I don't know. She's a character, maybe, we say this a lot, but maybe for the base game, she's a character that would be decided upon. But even then, Ayumi would have a lot of competition. So, the only thing... It's one of those things with Smash fans. It's just because a game came out recently. That's the only reason. A game came out recently, so obviously this character is going to be in Smash, right?
Yeah.
She'd be a great... Oh, go ahead, Push, sorry.
I think what John Knight said, more like a what the fuck pick for the base roster, is exactly what you're saying, Spazzy.
Yeah, a surprise pick, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That was exactly what I was gonna say. Was that it's like a Wii Fit Trainer, or a Game and Watch, or a Rob? Like, she'd be great for the next Smash game now that she's been localized and everything. If Sakurai did have some idea, way back when, she'd be a great character to be our what Yumi got in, and it's this. You have a little magnifying glass cursor or something, however it works, the pop-up menu or something. Be really cool to see what Sakurai does with that character, but I don't see it happening as one of our final 2 DLC fighters for Smash Ultimate.
Yeah. I think before we move on to the next one, just to bring up something that Jacob Tucker mentioned in the chat. So there is randomly mentioned on, I think the website for the game, that Ayumi knows how to use a Naginata, which is a long spear, Japanese-style spear, that's usually associated with, female samurai. And it's a really random thing to mention because she never uses one in the games at all, and it's never referenced in games that she knows how to. It just seems to be a part of her profile that they added, which I saw some people being like, "That's weird. Maybe they're trying to show us that she can fight." Or something like that, which
that's so weird.
Maybe, but the fact that she never uses it in the game ever. And it's never referenced in game means that I don't think it matters. I think it's just a fun little character quirk to show that she's capable, I guess.
She also likes heavy metal.
Yeah, she also likes heavy metal. That's the other thing mentioned.
Was that... I don't know if you know this or not. Was that in the original game, or did they just add that to the translation new one?
Well, that's the thing. It's not in the games, I'm pretty sure, but it was in the promotional, for the website for the remakes, I should say.
Oh, okay. So it's like an instruction manual type piece of information.
Yeah, if Yumi had a bio in an instruction manual for these remakes, it would mention that she likes heavy metal music and knows how to use a spear, basically. But even though neither of those points are in the game itself.
I think it was on the Famicom Detective, the original release, or the SNES release. That was on that website as well.
Was it on that website as well? Okay.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure.
I've only seen it for the new modern one, because then it has a picture of her, with her modern artwork next to the profile. It's not something I'd heard before before the remake. So
I do know, like you were mentioning, that the naginata was females in samurai families would sometimes learn how to fight with the naginata, and I believe it's still kind of like I don't know if this is true to like I haven't grown up in Japanese schooling system, but I know like kendo is like practiced sometimes. I think women are more apt to still learn naginata if they like pick up a martial arts or a weapon martial arts. I've seen pictures of classes and stuff like that. So maybe it is just a bit of flavor to the character, or maybe she's the spear user we've been waiting for. We'll find out.
We keep going back to the spear users.
yeah, it's desperately needed, and Fire Emblem could fill that gap as well.
Yeah, they had several chances to fill it.
I always thought Fire Emblem would have been better represented and I won't go off on this tangent for too long, if they had just done a bunch of different classes. So we have just Spear User, and then like Hero or the Koopalings, you just cycle through a bunch of different characters, and they all fight the same, but you just have like just Pegasus Knight, Axe User, Spear User, and like we just have like 4 or 5 different classes, and then a bunch of characters as alts, and that way I think it would represent Fire Emblem better because we wouldn't keep having to have protagonists get in, or if they got in, they'd just be costumes for the already done classes, and they'd just be already made move sets. Obviously, we're way past that being a possibility at this point, because you'd have to revamp all of Smash and cut all the Fire Emblem characters and redo it. But I always thought that would be the better way to represent that series.
And they could still do the weapon triangle, because like they do the type advantage and disadvantage slightly with the Pokemon characters in Smash, so they could still do the weapon
I
triangle.
think they got rid of that.
Oh, they
I know
did?
they did it in Brawl, but I think they got rid of that in Ultimate.
Yeah, I think that's done in Ultimate too. I think Sakurai said something about it because he wanted you to be able to kind of main each individual Pokemon if you wanted to, or something like that.
I think that was with the
So
stamina.
that's why you remove the stamina stuff as well.
Yes, yeah, they don't get tired over time or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, the weapon triangle would be really cool to have as classes of Fire Emblem. Obviously, this is entirely hypothetical, speculative, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's just talking stuff. It's never going to happen. But I thought that would have been the right way to represent Fire Emblem, because one of the problems, like we even mentioned, was that we have a ton of Fire Emblem characters taking up a big spot on a ton of spots on the roster. But even then, it doesn't even really represent the series that well, because there's thousands of characters. So I think the better way would do it, like we have a bunch of characters that are like Koopalings or Bowser Jr. that just have a bunch of alts. But I digress.
Well, let's go into a series that I think we won't spend too much time on. And that is a relatively new series, and that is the Labo and the Game Builder ban. We're not sure what to call this one, but there's like the pieces in Game Builder Garage that you can program with, and in Labo I think they also appear. Is that right? NantenJex?
Yeah, they appeared first in Labo, and they're basically being reused for Game Builder Garage. They appeared in Labo VR.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
The default robot man.
yeah. So a character from these two games, do you think it's possible buy or sell for Fighter Pass 2? I'm gonna do a fast sell on this one because I don't think Nintendo is promoting it too much, and I don't see it coming to Smash. Riley, do you want to go
Sell.
Well, Spazzy also said so.
No,
yeah.
that's all I have to say about it. It's sell.
I mean, I'm just going to play devil's advocate. I'm going to say buy. They did a Labo's Spirit event, so they were pushing Labo here, and the Labo man came after that Spirit event happened, like his first appearance, and now they're being used again in Game Builder Garage. So, like, it could be something if they wanted like a Labo rep. Like, he's probably the better chance than the cardboard man that people were using beforehand. So I'm going to just say bye. It was also my idea, so I'm also going to just defend myself.
Riley, do you want to go next?
Sure. I feel like I'd sell. I don't really see it happening. But I mean, it could be a cool character if it did. But I don't know. I feel like it's like a budget game. I don't know if it's a huge promotional priority for Nintendo, to be honest.
Okay. And PapaGenos. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll do a quick sell. I feel like Labo kind of, I don't see it on the shelves of stores as much anymore. That might be a production thing, but doesn't seem to be being pushed too hard. And then the Game Builder Garage, it got like announced on Twitter and stuff, not even Nintendo Direct or saved for E3. I mean, not to, I don't know, just diss these games or something like that, but I don't really see it happening, so I'm gonna sell.
Yeah. Okay, does anyone have anything else to say about Labo before we move on? Looks like
Sell.
Okay, let me prepare this next text. It
I'm just
happened a
gonna
lot.
start yelling "selling by." That'll just be my comments.
Yeah, I know. We've also been streaming for 2 hours already,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and we haven't even gotten to the fake E3 leaks.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on a Ninja Gaiden related thing for Source Gaming, and I called it Yume Ayane, and I'm like, damn it.
So, if we, I don't know, do you want to just do lightning round, try to go as fast as we can, or
Yeah,
like
I mean, to be honest, out of all of the ones we've got left, there's only one that I think I'd have maybe two that I'd have an actual comment on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think most
Okay.
Ignoring all the joke picks.
Okay,
Totally agree.
can you do a reaction towards the ones that you want to talk about, and then we'll do those? So.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, we'll do
I think you said that.
Donkey Kong Jr. And I think Donkey Kong Jr. has no shot as DLC. Like,
Yeah, that's fair.
As a character, I really want him to be in Smash because I think he's been underutilized by Nintendo, and it was really refreshing to see him in Mario Kart Tour, to see him recognized. But Donkey Kong Jr., I really want to see, but I don't think he'll be DLC. So sell. What does everyone else think?
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
yeah. So,
So,
like,
yeah.
Donkey Kong
Okay,
Jr. is another like surprise pick that could happen, like Game & Watch and Rob, but that's the base game thing,
Yeah.
not a DLC thing.
Okay. And Spazzy, you're gonna sell?
So,
Okay. All right. Well, the next character that we're gonna be talking about is a character that is pretty important to the Metroid franchise, and probably has a big place in it moving forward, and that's Sylux. So Sylux is what is it? Samus's new antagonist, and has a recurrent role in the series. So, do you guys think that Sylux has a chance? Do you buy or sell? Do you want to go first, Spazzy?
I like Metroid. Metroid already has two newcomers, Dark Samus and Ridley, in this game. I feel like Metroid's pretty well represented. There's one confirmed game coming out with Metroid Prime 4, and there is a rumored 2D game. The 2D game probably would not feature Sylux. Metroid Prime 4 has been pushed out quite a bit. I'm going to sell. I think Sylux would be super cool. I'd be very happy with the character, but I don't think there's a realistic shot, so sell.
Okay. NantenJex?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm also going to sell on this one. I think the main thing is the fact that Metroid Prime 4 is probably very far away. I don't want to say very far away, but like late 2022 is what I'm feeling like. And I know we're talking about this with Breath of the Wild 2 Zelda, but I still think at least that one is planned for this fiscal year. It's rumored that we're going to get the 2D Metroid first, and like Spazzy said, I don't think Sylux is going to have any role to play in that game. So I don't see why they would then have Sylux to be like the promotional character when he's going to be promoting not the actual next Metroid game, but a game that's happening 2 years from now. So I just don't see it happening. I do think he's possible for base character in the next game, assuming Metroid Prime 4 does well. Because, yeah, like you said, he probably does have a strong future in the Prime line of games. But
Okay.
yeah.
And PapaGenos, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to sell on Sylux as well, for a lot of the same reasons that have already been said here. I do think, it's possible we'll get some sort of character as the last fighter that promotes some future game, or a game that comes out around the time that, the Smash Ultimate DLC ends, just to keep the game fresh, or the roster fresh. And Sylux could do that, but I think Prime 4 is probably a ways out. And I think the main reason most people were like assuming Silex might happen initially was because, like Porky, Silex is missing a spirit in Smash and is supposedly going to be a big part of Metroid Prime 4. However, unlike Porky, where the missing spirit, I don't have a good reason for why they haven't brought that back. Silex has a perfect reason for why he doesn't have a spirit in base game Smash Ultimate, which is they have these spirit events for when new games come out. And Silex, if he is a big part of Prime 4, probably is going to have some new artwork for that game. So they're probably just waiting until Prime 4 comes out to give, or at least get some more artwork, or we see something of Prime 4 maybe at E3, and then they can do a spirit event for it, add the new artwork of Silex into Smash Ultimate instead of the old artwork, and there you go, he's in the game. I think that's all that's really going on with Silex, so I'm going to sell.
Okay, and Riley, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd probably sell on Silex. I feel like I just don't know what he would do that would be that different from like Samus or Dark Samus. I think he's a neat character, and he has a shot in future titles, but I feel like he has to establish himself a bit more first.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, I'm going to sell.
I'm going to go buy, just because I think that Nintendo would want to push Metroid more. And I think the reason that we got Dark Samus and Ridley is because, Nintendo's like, well, how can we push Metroid more? Let's include more characters in Smash. It worked with Fire Emblem. Let's try it with Metroid, because Metroid doesn't sell well, and it needs more of that introduction to less hardcore fans.
And what a world where Metroid has more unique characters than Zelda. Actually, I guess it had. No, we would, because
More than
Ganondorf's
Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and more than Donkey Kong.
Well, the same as Donkey Kong when you talk to unique. Yeah.
No, well, I mean, it's already got the same as Donkey
Once
Kong
an
when you
Echo.
talk unique.
One Echo, yeah.
Yeah, and then it's got 3 unique characters.
I think Silex, based off of Hunters, has the ability for a unique moveset, though. But that's not most characters have the ability for a unique moveset.
Yeah, it just depends.
All right, moving on.
Well, next character is the Octoling, and their Splatoon 3 is already confirmed to be in development, and we know that Splatoon is one of Nintendo's biggest franchises, so do you think that Octoling has a shot of becoming a Fighter Pass 2 character? I'm going to do a sell on this one, because I know that they could be different from the Inklings, but I don't know if they would be different enough to warrant a full character.
I'm gonna buy, because I suggested this one. But like with Splatoon 3 on its way out, when Splatoon 3 coming out, then I think they could have. There's plenty of new weapons they could do for Octolings, but alternatively, if they wanted to do like a bonus character, not that they are or anything, but if they want to do an Echo Fighter or something, I think like Octoling would be the most likely choice. And so for that potential possibility, I'm also going to say buy. Either because promote Splatoon 3 Easy Edition could just be a nice extra, but could also be unique if they wanted to go a different route. I think there's quite a bit going for Octoling. Plus, they're just really popular. Like, a lot of people wanted an Octoling as like an alt costume or an Echo Inkling, and it obviously didn't happen. But around the time that was in development, Octolings weren't actually playable yet, I don't think. Or they had just become playable, but they wouldn't have been when Sakurai was deciding on the base roster. So, but now they are, so there's loads they could do there.
Okay, and PapaGenos, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm also going to actually buy on Octoling, kind of for a lot of the same reasons. We know Splatoon 3 is coming out. The time frame for Splatoon 3 feels like that sweet spot for you end the Smash Ultimate DLC off on something that has a future game so that the roster feels fresh for a while. But I do think they probably make more sense. And again, I don't like to bring this up because I don't want to get people's hopes up, but they do make more sense as like an extra bonus fighter like Plant or something like that, and an easy Echo or slightly altered Echo type fighter as a bonus. I think they work best as something like that, and that'd be kind of perfect. And then we do final two characters. They're both like third party, and then a little extra bonus. Here's Octoling. It represents this game Splatoon 3 that's coming out, a little later. It keeps the roster fresh. And it's just an easy character. So I don't want to totally count them out. So I buy them on that. But it's a low chance, but I'm not going to say it's none. So I'm going to say buy.
Yeah, I think I'd probably sell. Unless the fabled bonus character is a thing, then maybe as a promotional thing. But I don't think the Octoling would be like a big exciting reveal. Not that they have to be big or exciting, but I just don't see it.
Okay. And the last Nintendo character that we're going to talk about today.
By yourself.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm kind of on the fence with this one. Splatoon is a really, really big franchise for Nintendo, but I think I'm going to have to sell just because I don't see Octoling as a character that, while they could have a more unique moveset, I feel like they'd be more of an Isabelle to the Villager than something that would be kind of a brand new, fresh character with a gimmick like we've seen in DLC. So sell.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Like, I think like they wouldn't be different enough to be a DLC character. Like, I could see them as a base roster or as a bonus character. All right, this last character is one that I actually had to look up because I wasn't sure where they came from, and that is Yuden from Dragalia Lost.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So Spazzy, do you want to go first since you suggested him?
I just felt like this is a character that needed to be brought up because it's a game that grossed over $100 million in a year for Nintendo. it's their first big mobile IP that isn't tied to anything. And they might want to push it more with kind of the mainstream Nintendo, console owning fans. That being said, I think when push comes to shove, I'm going to sell on this one. I don't think that they would. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy on this guy that looks suspiciously like Shulk.
An evil Shulk. Yeah, I think I'm going to buy as well. Also, I've just stolen Riley's spot.
Sorry.
No. Sorry. Should I just continue? Because I already said.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to buy as well. I wanted to make sure Waden was mentioned, not just for our good friend Dusty, who's big on Dragalia Lost, but also he gets talked a lot about in our Discord. And it's just... of all, like, when we talk about new IPs and stuff that don't have anything in Smash, but also new IPs that came out after Smash and are actually somewhat big, like, Dragalia Lost is one of them. It sits there, like Spazzy said, it made over like $100 million in a year. It's made by Cygames, who are quite a big Japanese developer. It's like Nintendo's only unique mobile IP, and it's doing really well for itself. And I feel like, despite Waden might look like Fantasy Shulk and look like another sword fighter, there is some unique stuff you can do with him in the dragon transformation gimmick of like building up the meter and turning into this big dragon. That's like it'd be like jumping from, imagine playing as like Young Link or Marth or something, and then once you hit a certain trigger, you transform into Bowser, and then or Charizard, and then you wreck shop for for like 30 seconds before you transform back into Marth or Young Link. It's that sort of idea behind it, which I think is quite cool. And I kind of want to see Dragalia Lost get more attention. I don't play it because my phone doesn't have enough memory for me to actually have it on there. But I think I would play it if it was on Switch. And I kind of would like to see Nintendo potentially bring it to Switch or keep the series going with other
spin-offs
games and stuff.
That's the thing, is I could definitely see it being spun off to other Switch exclusive titles or things like that as well. So that's definitely part of it. And it's kind of weird, but yeah, like I ultimately I think I'm gonna buy. So Riley, I guess you can go because we're not going to cut you off now.
I appreciate that. No, I think you know what, like, as much as I don't personally like care to see it, I feel like it's definitely a possibility. For that reason, I'll buy. I do see someone in the comments saying that there's like a music copyright issue and the game's not out in certain countries. I mean, I'm not familiar with the copyright issue, but
it's
having
it's just one of them cases where some songs are owned by are made by actual like artists, I guess.
Yeah, but it's the same with Minecraft. That's fine.
Yeah, it's the same one the problem Minecraft has. So
yeah,
and it's not out in certain countries like Belgium where they don't do any kind of that sort of mobile gacha game. They don't have any of them.
Yeah. So for that reason, I don't think it doesn't matter too much. I mean, they're like Fire Emblem debuted in Smash, and it wasn't out in the West, so I don't think that really matters too much. So I'd say I'd buy that for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna sell on this one. I'm not like super familiar with the series, so I'll admit to that. But the fact that it's not available in certain countries, I feel like probably counts it out, or makes it unlikely. Just because I know Sakurai said putting Lucas in Brawl, he probably wouldn't have done that if he knew Mother 3 wasn't getting localized. So I think since then, I think more modern Smash has tried to have worldwide appeal. So if there's certain countries that this game is not available in, I think they'd probably shy away from including it in Smash. But again, I admit I'm not super familiar with the series or the game, the mobile game. So yeah, I'm just gonna sell on it.
Okay. Well, I think. Does anyone have anything else to say about Yuden? Before we
No, but
wrap
I
things
did
up?
want to introduce one more character.
Okay. Go ahead, Riley.
Because we're with PapaGenos, I feel like it's appropriate to introduce Gino. I just think it is. So, Papa, how are you feeling?
I feel like this is just making me say I have to sell. You're just making me have to say sell on Gino.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get Gino. I mean, if we're counting any chance at all, like a 0.001% chance, then I'll say buy on Gino. There's like the slim possibility, the extremely slim possibility. If we're even counting Gino as a first-party character, I guess he's like a half and half. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like a half.
Yeah, but I guess if there's the slim possibility that Sakurai didn't even acknowledge the Mii costume. He didn't say anything about it for such a big character, big in the fan base character. You'd think he'd have said something, and he didn't even mention it. Maybe this is all a ploy, and we've gotten the Mii costume, and the final character surprise. The trailer starts off, it's the Mii costume, and the spirit comes down and inhabits it, and Gino. But that would be a second Square character this pass. That would mean people went and bought the Mii costume, and now they're going to have to buy the character, which just feels...
that seems disingenuous.
Yeah, it seems disingenuous. I believe he is not going to happen. But there's a small chance that it's all a ploy, but I doubt it.
I have to sell too. Not only did they bring the Mii costume back, which I don't think they would have unless he was there, but they actually updated it. It's the saddest thing in the world that they updated that Mii costume and didn't make it a premium Mii, the deluxe Mii. That's like that's the saddest thing in the DLC for me. Period.
This is such a tough topic for me to talk about.
Yeah,
not get like. I'm absolutely grateful Gino is in Smash at all. I mean, considering all the things that Square has, the fact that the few Mii costume, like that they went out of their way to give us some Mario RPG representation in Smash with some spirits, and the Mii costume is a testament to the Gino fan base and how much people want this character in Smash. It should not, nothing from Mario RPG should really be in Smash. Without the fans, I feel like that just wouldn't happen. But yeah, updating the Mii costume to look really nice in the body, but not giving him a mask is just because I would have been 100% satisfied. Like I can't stress this enough. If you just given us Beware the Forest Mushroom and as a soundtrack, and then a nice looking face, I would have just mained me Gunner and had Banjo and Little Mac as pocket secondaries, something like that, I would have been totally satisfied with that. Could have definitely lived with that. I would love to have a timed attacked, Mario RPG playable Geno character with a cool Mario RPG stage and tons of music tracks. But I completely admit he is a one-off character, sort of two-off character for count the Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga brief cameo. From a game from like 25 years ago. Like I totally understand he is Mii costume material more than anything. But just give us that deluxe Mii with one music track would have been completely satisfied. I think the whole Geno fan base would have accepted that and been satisfied. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say those deluxe Mii's feel to me like the same way we felt about Echoes, where we started seeing them and then we had all these ideas and then they just kind of stopped.
Yeah, they seem so underutilized. I really wish, I'm not a big fan of the Mii costumes in general, but the deluxe Mii's are great. Honestly, if you could half the amount of Mii costumes we got and just give us characters whose body types fit the Mii's to look like the actual character.
Yep. Agreed.
And I would have been way more into that. I would have been like, the Mii's are a great character. I love this. We have so many, cool looking characters, in the game now, sort of playable. And like you said, Echo Fighters and the deluxe Mii costumes, which I know is a fan term, but Echo Fighters were called clones by the fans until they actually decided to acknowledge them as a named thing. Those two things feel so underutilized, yet the potential to satisfy so many fan bases with them is there, and they didn't do it, and it's upsetting.
I agree. You could do so much with both of those things to give so much more representation, and they just didn't.
Yeah, and the fact that there's other things that get in, like the non-deluxe Mii costumes, where it's like, guys, just give up, just stop doing those. People don't really care about them that much. Just stop doing those and just do less, but
better.
It's quality over quantity here to give us better things like more Echo Fighters and more deluxe Mii costumes, and cut out something else that you're doing, like spirits and the not deluxe Mii costumes, and add some Echo Fighters and some deluxe Mii costumes. Man, everybody would be way happier. Maybe next time.
Yeah, maybe they'll give Mii Brawler Link's down B bomb spawn so that I can give it to Bomberman, so I can actually feel like I'm playing as Bomberman.
That'd be very cool.
That's the roughest thing with Bomberman, is that you have bombs on Gunner, but he's Brawler.
Yeah.
He has the shot put, but it's not the same.
And they clone so many moves. Like I'm saying, just just add a couple more moves. Just give him Link's down B.
I mean, if you made the Mii's, they had the vast amount of customizability in Smash 4, and then got rid of it for Ultimate, have a little bit of customization with the Mii's, and I know it's probably tough to balance them this way, but yeah, if you vastly improve the customization of just the Mii's, the Mii's just had a ton of customization and had just deluxe Mii costumes, you could kind of build these fighters, it'd be so much better. I think everybody'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love Mii's if you could customize their taunts, if you customize their victory animations, if you could customize their music for their winning jingles, stuff like that.
Pulling any series jingle you can throw in as their ending jingle or something like that. Which customizable final smashes. Maybe it's a lot for characters that I think a lot of people are like, it's such a waste, especially because there's so many competitively minded people. It's such a waste when we want actual all-star characters. But if they gave us more options with the Mii's, I would use them all the time, honestly. Yeah, same here. I played Cuphead, Toy, Sans, and Bomberman. Those are the only costumes I have made, and then I have a Geno, but I don't even really play as it because it kind of upsets me. But those I actually play as those ones just because they're cool, and I hope we get a few more. You kind of touched on this before, but I do. They sort of stopped the last few Mii waves, but I hope we get a few more before the end here, because there are so many ideas. I've seen people throw out. I could think of 30 characters that would fit great. So hopefully there's a few more.
I just want the Knight from Hollow Knight. Give my character to me. Just do it.
That one and Shovel Knight feel like two obvious choices.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. I would love to get. I know there's some issues with the company and stuff, but Quote from Cave Story would make another great one. I could think of a bunch. So.
Yeah. So I'm gonna throw a bit of a twist on this, and I'm gonna say buy for Geno.
Oh.
And I'm gonna buy for Geno because I think they went through the effort of getting the costume. And to your point, the reason that he's not a deluxe me is because I feel like that would lessen his actual reveal, if and when it happens.
I just feel like that's a real shitty move for consumers to be all like to release a costume for Geno first to make you think that's all that's happening and then make you buy an actual Geno after. Like you're making people double dip. Like I feel like that's a bad consumer practice.
That's my main reason for dismissing the idea or holding out any hope of the idea of this all being a ploy and Geno really is that idea that it's kind of scummy to do that double dip. And it feels like, I know Sakurai is even like, obviously everyone, like, you know, there's some things that people don't like DLC happening for, like the Loftwing amiibo in recent times here is a good example. Like, you know, making people buy DLC for games, but everybody likes that Smash gets DLC. Everybody's okay with, you know, that they're clearly working on brand new stuff. It's, you know, clearly worth buying. And like Sakurai is even kind of hesitant about DLC because of the blind purchase fighter pass aspect. Like he's always very upfront about like, only buy this if you feel, you know, assured that you're going to like the full fighter pass or whatever.
Get your
so
value.
It just seems very anti-Sakurai to
Yeah, they want to be more transparent about it. I don't know. It just and don't get me wrong. I would love Geno, and I don't think it's 100% out of the realm of possibility. But I'm definitely gonna have to sell on it.
What if he's the bonus? Then he's like just a freebie thrown in.
That could maybe get around the buying the costume thing, but I don't know if would he be a freebie for everybody, or would he be a freebie for people who bought both passes, or, you know, it would be tough to just give us a totally free character because not even
yeah, because there's still
all right. So now we just need to talk about Dr. Stack of Goombas, right? And then
Bye.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about Dr. Stack of Goombas.
It's 3 characters in one. It's another Dr. Mario rep. I think it's a great choice.
I really want the totem pole link, actually.
Totem pole
Totem pole link.
Yes.
Just an Echo fighter for Dr. Goomba Stack.
Yeah. Well, I know some people have to go pretty soon, and we've been streaming for 2.5 hours now. So I think it's okay if we wrap things up.
Sure.
Is everyone okay with that?
I really would like to eat breakfast. I really like to
Okay. So, just making sure. So why don't we go ahead and go around the table and say where people can find you real quick. Riley, do you want to go first?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at the Riley Little, and I usually just tweet about Smash Brothers or Walmart stuff.
Okay, and Spazzy?
At all the Source Gaming stuff at 8bit_Spazzy on Twitter. I believe that's not my Instagram handle, but whatever. I never use that anyway. So just 8bit_Spazzy. You can find me. You know where to find me.
PapaGenos?
Yeah, you can find me at my YouTube channel, PapaGenos, or you can catch me on Twitter at GenosPapa. I had to do it reverse there. And there's a few other places you can find me, like my Discord channel and stuff like that, but all the links to that are on the YouTube channel. That's sort of the hub. So YouTube channel, PapaGenos, that's the best place to find me.
Okay, and NantenJex?
So Twitter is at Mr. Nintendo, and Spazzy's already mentioned All Source Gaming, so I'll mention the other one, which is the Nintendo Chronicler, which you can go subscribe to that channel. That'd be great. The second video that I'm planning on getting that out before E3, which, i.e. this week, basically. I just need to finish the video I'm working on for Source Gaming, which needs to absolutely be out before Nintendo's presentation. But then I'll finish working on the next video for that channel, so go to both, and then you won't miss either.
And I'm PushDustIn. You can find me by just searching PushDustIn on Google. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube now, maybe TikTok in the future. I have a very crazy dinosaur dance that I did that Alec and stuff has seen and said that I absolutely must post it, so maybe I'll post that. Thanks again for joining, and I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. We'll try to do a couple more here and there in the future. So thank you guys again for joining. I am almost done with my sake.